Hello and welcome into Anchorage Bucs baseball alongside my partner Will Hopkins. Vic Masley here at Mulcahy Stadium in beautiful Anchorage, Alaska. Couldn't say that the past couple of days. We've had crazy rain going on here. The past two games, the Mayor's Cup, have been canceled and rained out, but they will be postponed at a later date. One will be a doubleheader and one will take up a previous day off. But as for the Bucks, they come into this game 17-7. They will face the Matsu Miners again. They are 4-0 against the Miners, 5-0 if you count that non-league game. And this is a team that the Bucks have not faced as much as guys like the Pilots or the Oilers or even the Chinooks. Actually, out of all the teams, I would say the Miners we're the least familiar with. So it'll be interesting to see how the Bucks fare. And coming off of two rain delays, coming off of 2 days off prior to that first Mayor's Cup, will the Bucks haven't really gotten in a rhythm yet. They have won the first Mayor's Cup against the Pilots. They had an ugly loss against the Chinooks, and then that doubleheader sweep versus this Miners team. How do the Bucks find consistency and build on that last win against the Mariners?
Yeah, like you said, getting to play game after game after game now, which we haven't been able to say. And who better to get things started against than a team you've been really successful against, the Miners. Now, after the loss to the Chinooks, the only team that hasn't beat the Bucks yet, and 4-0, 5-0 in total. Like you said, not only that, but the Miners are coming off of four straight losses. So you're catching them at a time when they're not playing their best baseball. But even still, you can't take them for granted. That doubleheader sweep was just 4-0 in total, 2-0 in each game. The Bucks did have one big 9-1 win over these Miners, but the other two wins were just by the one run. So you have a great record against them, but they're going to give you a great battle. They lead the league in ERA with the Bucks sitting in second, and the Bucks lead the league in runs scored, and just behind them are these Miners. So they're in third place, just half a game under 500, but they're a formidable opponent and one you can't take lightly, but still one that I think the Bucks could have some success against and get a big streak started.
And just by looking at the pitching staff for the Miners, you would say that they're underperforming a little. Well, not the pitching staff, but the team as well. But based on the pitching staff, they've been so good, and they've got some big boys. They got some really big guys that aren't just big in terms of just height and stuff like that, but just big fastballs. We've seen electric fastballs from these guys. Nebraska Timmerman, he looked really good against the Bucks. The guy the Bucks are facing today, and Hostetler looks really good so far. But like I said, the pitching staff has been nails for the Miners. It's just been the bats, which is odd because they've been scoring a good bit of runs. Will.
Yeah, they've been able to manufacture runs. They sit towards the bottom of the league in batting average, yet they're second in runs scored. We saw it against them. They love to take bags, they love to steal bases, and they're going to take advantage of any opportunity that they can. So even if they don't destroy you in the hit department, they're still going to get their runs on the board. Hasn't been the case the last few times against the Bucks, but we know what they're capable of. So any base runner is a threat, especially with these guys. But talking about the pitching, really excited to see Jack Hostetler face this Bucks lineup. The Bucks have not faced him so far. He's only made one start, but he was dominant in that last start.
Yeah, so we're going to get to that last start. We're going to talk about Wyatt Halverson, the guy on the mound for the Bucks. We'll get to the starting lineups and a whole bunch more after this short break. Welcome back to Mulcahy Stadium. Vic Masley and Will Hopkins here with you. For the visiting Miners, they'll go with Jack Hostetler, and this will be his fifth appearance. In his previous four, he started just one game, and that was his last outing. But he does have four decisions. He's 2-2, 21 innings pitched, and in those 21 innings, he's given up seven hits and just two earned runs. Good for a .86 ERA. And despite only having four appearances, he actually has the second most amount of innings pitched with those 21 innings, and that is because in the non-game starts, he's pitched four innings twice and then six innings going back to June 7th, where he came in relief, pitched six innings, gave up just one hit, no runs. In his two four-inning games, he's given up one hit, one earned run, but only one earned run in that one of those games. The other one was an unearned run. So the four appearances coming into this game, he's pitched a good bit for the Miners, despite only the four appearances, considering the innings. Just 21 innings pitched, that is a lot. But going for the Bucs is going to be Wyatt Halverson, and Will Halverson has looked really good, but his last start was a little bit shaky.
Yeah, last start, only able to get through three innings, giving up five hits, two walks, and two earned runs. He did have seven strikeouts, but that was really overshadowed by just how much action there was on the base paths. But looking at the full season, five previous appearances, all of them starting 21 innings, 21 hits, 10 earned runs, 37 strikeouts, and nine walks. So his ERA sitting at 4.29 with a 1-2 record. And even though he didn't have his best stuff last time out, he still limited the damage in those three innings and just didn't get a lot of run support. So he ended up picking up the loss in those three innings, and the Bucs took the loss 2-1. But we know what he's capable of, and we know that he's a strikeout guy.
Oh, 100%. And as for last starts, Will Hostetler had a great last time out. He had his first start of this summer, pitched seven innings, gave up four hits, and just the one earned run. He was super dominant in that game versus a Oilers team who's in second place and has some really good bats. So obviously, it's not surprising considering his other appearances, but it is a really good to have that behind him. And how about 12 strikeouts to no walks?
Absolutely unbelievable. He has 27 strikeouts to two walks in the entire season.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. But Halverson, despite his last start, has looked really good this summer, and he's a tough guy to face for this Miners bats.
Yeah, we'll hope to see him get back on the right page, and to do so, he'll have to face this Miners lineup. We'll go ahead and give that to you. Leading things off in center field will be Drake Kerr with Chase Wilcox right behind him at third base, and Kyle McCausland rounding out the top three in left field. Christian Perez will be the man at first. He'll bat cleanup with Dom Patrizzi right over next to him in the order and in the field at second base. Blake Baltz will catch for Jack Hostetler and bat sixth, with Ryan Cochran at shortstop batting seventh. And then Kellen Strohmeyer will be in right field batting eighth, with Riker Scow to finish things up as the designated hitter. So Kerr, Wilcox, and McCausland, Perez, Patrizzi, and Baltz, Cochran, Strohmeyer, and Scow. Interesting to see that designated hitter batting ninth. And now for the Bucs, Cole Carlone in that more familiar, as of late, leadoff spot. He'll be at first base with Will Burns at shortstop batting second. Andrew Lamb will be in right field up to third in the order, and Ryan Callahan gets the day off in the field, but he will bat cleanup. Peyton Knowles is back in the outfield. He'll play left and bat fifth, with Josh Hankins on the hot corner batting sixth. Brody Briggs will catch for Wyatt Halverson and bat seventh. And new addition to the roster in the lineup, Martell Davis. We'll get more into him during the broadcast. He'll bat eighth and play second base. And Riley Hunsaker, for the first time since July 7th, and hoping to get through a whole game since sustaining that hamstring injury on June 24th. He will finish things up batting ninth and roaming around center field. So Carlone, Burns, and Lamb, Callahan, Knowles, and Hankins, Briggs, Davis, and Hunsaker, with Halverson opposing Jack Hostetler for the Miners. PA announcer just finishing up giving the starting lineups for our Bucs, rocking the camo uniforms, going against some camo of the Miners we haven't seen yet. And now I think it's time for our national anthem.
Join us in honoring the right field with the playing of the national anthem.
Hope you enjoy the national anthem here at Mulcahy Stadium on a beautiful, sun-shining Monday evening. Bucks wearing the white-based camo with the white pants and the black pinstripes. As for the Miners, it'll be a green-based camo. Both teams rocking some gold numerals and camo versus camo matchup. Not something we've seen. We've seen a couple new uniforms from the Miners the last few times we played them. It was the blue USA themed ones last time, and now it's the camo for them as Wyatt Halverson throws his warm-up tosses to Brody Briggs, Cole Carlone at first, Martell Davis at second, Will Burns at short, and Josh Hankins at third base, Peyton Knowles in left, Riley Hunsaker in center, and Andrew Lamb in right field. The Bucks' last game coming on Friday. That was a 9-1 win against the Pilots prior to postponements due to weather of games 2 and 3 of the Mayor's Cup. As for the Miners, their last game also coming against the Pilots. That was a loss on Thursday, a score of 4-1. 4 straight losses for the Miners coming into play, and that puts them in third place. Last time these two teams faced, they were sitting in second. That was a doubleheader back on July 8th, exactly a week ago on Monday. The Bucks taking both games by a score of 2-0. Cole Carlone coming up big with all 3 Bucks RBIs on the day. Home plate umpire not really messing with the little standoff we've got going on the lines. And it looks like the Miners took the victory, and they're pretty happy about that. And I think he's now warning both dugouts that he doesn't want to see any more activity like that again. But with the national anthem done, I can't imagine what else could really go on similar to that. But either way, he's a little fed up to get his Monday evening started. Halverson, still a few more tosses to go to Brody Briggs. It'll be Drake Kerr, Chase Wilcox, and Kyle McCausland for these Mat-Su Miners. Miners sitting at 12 and 13 in third place. Bucks at 17 and 7 in first place. Just the 5th meeting in league play between these two, so we'll see the Miners pretty often. Throw down to second from Brody Briggs. Drake Kerr coming to the plate. The stage is set. We're ready for baseball, and here to give it to you, Vic Maslia.
Thank you, Will. Wyatt Halverson steps up onto the hill. Drake Kerr taking a deep breath before he steps in the right-handed batter's box. So far, Kerr on the year is batting .271, 85 at-bats, just one under Patrizi and McCausland for the most on the team, and he's their normal leadoff guy. He steps in, Halverson already ready to go. Working from the windup, the pitch is popped up, and that one is going to get out of play, and we're underway here at Mulcahy Stadium. The sun finally poking out and greeting us. Very nice to see after a couple back-to-back really rainy days. The rain will just did not seem to stop.
Absolutely not. It was torrential, and even when it slowed up, it didn't really ever come to a complete stop over these last couple of days.
The 0-1 pitch misses outside. Of course, the umpire warning both dugouts pretty emphatically. I didn't think he would be as angry as he ended up being after the end of that standoff. Bucks have tried to do that a couple times and have unfortunately not won. The last one, at least I saw, 1-1 misses up and in. Last one, Coach Springman was actually the guy to put them back into the dugout a little bit forcibly, but nothing too crazy. It's always fun to see these guys having fun. 2 balls, 1 strike, the pitch. Called strike.
And for these Miners, first look at Wyatt Halverson on the mound. It'll be the same way for the Bucks when they see Hostetler in the bottom of the inning.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Halverson ready to pitch. Slider misses away. Count runs full. A little lengthy at bat. Miners, a pesky team, will set it in the intro. They're just going to take it bases and play some small ball on you and just kill you with that. 3-2. Popped up out of play foul, but they will also fight during at-bats just like Drake Kerr does. Don't want to have them with traffic on the bases early.
Tied for the second least strikeouts in the league with the Chinooks. They're a tough team to get out that way.
3-2. Foul straight back towards us, and whew, look out, Will.
I will admit, I definitely flinched big time on that one. I know we got this window in front of us, but that one was aimed right for my head.
And if it wasn't looping like it was, it could have easily crept through there. It hit the side, and it could have come in. But like I said, if that is more at an angle that is not over there. And I think some of the players are getting a hint that it was close to us. I see some smiles over there. I think they'd love to see us throw the ball back out if it gets in here. So lengthy at bat for Kerr, the 3-2. And he taps this one foul.
Yeah, like I mentioned, tied for second least strikeouts for these Miners with the Chinooks. The Bucs leading in that department like we've talked about all year, and by a good margin. 108 strikeouts for these Bucs bats, 164 for the Miners and the Chinooks. The Pilots lead the way, and not the way you want to, with 223.
So a 9-pitch at bat now for the leadoff man, Drake Kerr. Halvey ready to retire him, and he can't. That one's just a bit outside, and he's a little bit frustrated there as he takes a big walk around the mound, and I would too. A long at bat, took 9 pitches and unfortunately suffered the walk.
Yeah, if you're Halverson, it's tough to throw strike after strike after strike like that. Unfortunately, started things out 2-1, so already 2 balls, and then really was pounding the zone towards the end of that at bat, and then last one just couldn't seem to find it. And like we've mentioned, this team loves to run, so got to keep an eye on Kerr over there at first.
Chase Wilcox, the lefty, at the dish. First pitch he sees is up and away. Wilcox, their normal third baseman, with 61 at-bats. He's sporting a 262 average. Noted that the averages are a little bit on the lower side for the Miners. Some of the lowest team average in the league, despite having some of the most amount of runs. 1-0, big cut and a miss.
And talking about Kerr over there at first, leads the ABL in stolen bases with 16. Will Burns of the Bucs second with 12, but for Kerr, only been caught twice. So 16 for 18.
See if he tries to go. Brody Briggs has got a great arm. 1-1, he does not, and this is poked into center field. That one's going to get down. Hunsaker gets to it. Kerr's now going to try for third base. Here comes the throw, and it's going to be cut off by Will Burns.
That's what we talked about this team. Even if it's not stolen bases, they're always going to take the extra bag. Good hitting from Wilcox to get things started, and then that ball kind of hit into that left center gap, and he got a good jump off of contact and was able to get over to third. And now Halverson in a tough spot early on in this one.
And Kerr hesitated a little bit, which was interesting to see, and Hunsaker fielded it pretty cleanly. I don't think he was expecting Kerr to go based off of the hesitation. That's probably why there wasn't as much on the throw. But Kerr's got speedy wheels. It might have not mattered. Kyle McCausland now will bat and takes the ball upstairs. Halverson, a tough last outing, just went those 3 innings. Only gave up 2 runs, but that was enough to suffer the loss.
The 5 hits probably the most concerning part about that one, but 7 strikeouts, so still some encouragement.
1-0 pitch. Gets the upstairs part of the zone. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Home plate umpire taking his time to call that strike, huh?
Sure did. It's a borderline call, and he made everyone know. Wind blowing just a little bit from right to left field. Nothing too crazy.
Got to be careful over there with Wilcox at first, because you know Kerr's at third. Took a couple of steps on that throw from Halverson just in case it got away from Cole Carlone.
McCausland tied with Patrizzi for most at-bats on the team. Everyday guy when one is fouled away. McCausland's hitting 256. He's driven in 11 runs. Patrizzi with the most, 16 RBIs.
Wilcox 5 for 5 on stolen bases, the man at first.
Infield pretty straight up. Middle infield still pinching 2 for a double play. Nobody out here. 1 ball, 2 strike count. The pitch. This is upstairs. Count evens up 2-2. On deck, Christian Perez, the first baseman, then Dom Patrizzi. Patrizzi was a guy batting towards the top part of the order for the Miners, what we saw earlier on in the season, is since dropped a little bit towards the middle half. 2-2. Just gets a piece of it and fouls it back. Halverson just seems there's that 1 pitch away.
Yep, 17 pitches now and still doesn't have his first out. 7 balls, 10 strikes. Has thrown some competitive pitches, but these Miners just making every at-bat difficult.
Kerr at third, Wilcox at first. A walk and a base hit. 2-2 in the dirt. Another full count pitch. Last one was to Kerr and ended up being 9 pitch at bat that resulted in a walk. As for Wilcox, he got on Halverson early in that at bat. Righty ready, he'll check on first. Wilcox is in there safely, no problem. After not winning the Mayor's Cup since 2018, the Bucs unfortunately get it cut short. They did win the first game. The next two were rained out. 3-2 misses upstairs, and the bases are full of Miners.
Yep, not the start that Halverson would be looking for, and because of that, Brody Briggs is going to go have a chat with him. But like you said, Bucks getting off to a good start in the Mayor's Cup, against the Pilots, and now they'll have to wait a little over a week to resume that. And now home plate umpire making sure that everybody's in the dugout, doesn't like the Bucks sitting just outside that top step.
I'm surprised they got away with it for so long. This umpire is, from what I've known, we've seen the same kind of umpire crew, is just to be a little bit more strict than the other ones. So everyone's good. Bases are loaded, so that's only not good thing. Christian Perez is at the plate, the lefty batter, with Halverson on the mound. Still looking for that first out. Infield, regular depth, corners are a little bit in. Just gets a piece of it foul.
Yeah, I would wonder if the ball's hit to Hankins over there at third. He might be coming home with it.
Perez second in RBIs with 12 behind Patrizzi 16. Has a chance to bring in a bunch of runs right here. 0-1. Little tapper. Halverson going to spin throw and throws home to get the out. And a good job. Halverson getting the lead runner prevents the run from scoring. One down.
Yeah, unfortunately on that play, Carlone, I think, had taken a couple steps thinking he might have to field that ball. Otherwise, the Bucks might have been able to turn two.
So they can't turn two, but they get the most important out. A 1-2 put out. So now Dom Patrizzi bats. The second baseman, the first pitch to him just misses upstairs. Patrizzi, like I noted, 16 RBIs. Hitting just .221 though, 15 strikeouts to 12 walks. It'd be tough to get him to roll over on one. Speedy legs out there. Middle infield does want to turn it. Burns and Davis both inching towards second base. Baltz on deck. Like to see him in the second. That one misses low.
Turning two would be so huge for Halverson and these Bucks, but would also be so demoralizing for these Miners. Bases loaded and nobody out if they weren't able to bring a run home, but still a lot of work to do for Halverson.
2 balls, no strikes. The pitch to Patrizzi. Gets a piece of it down the line, and it's just foul.
Yeah, that almost emptied the bases.
Sure did.
Just a few feet away.
Tough break for the Miners. Fortunate break for the Bucks, and that will prompt a little bit of a mound visit from Brody Briggs. Second time he's come out there this inning. That was Briggs giving the thumbs up. We're all ready to go. Halverson to 24 pitches this inning. I would make 25th the last one, but it would be tough to double up Patrizzi. Righty Halverson comes set right at the belt. The pitch. Hit towards second, first chance for Davis. He's going to flip to second for one, and there will be no plays at first base. So a run will come and score. That would be Chase Wilcox. So it's a 1-0 lead for the Miners, but the Bucks do trade it for the second out.
Yeah, and for Davis, it looked like that second bounce just skipped off the dirt pretty slowly, and because of that, he didn't have time to turn two. Did a good job of getting that ball over to second, but ball kind of just hung up in the air off that second bounce to break up the double play. But still, the Bucks will take the out, and I think the Miners will take the run.
So Perez was out at second. That moved McCausland over to third. And of course, Patrizzi reaches on the fielder's choice. And that'll bring up Blake Baltz. Halverson can get out of the inning just suffering the one run. That would be huge.
100%.
Clouds rolling in, some ominous clouds too. Sun still shining overhead. Wyatt will check on first, but in there safely Patrizi. Seen Peyton Knowles out there mostly for the Bucs, playing at second base. Giving that up for Davis, Knowles in the outfield tonight. That's what we're used to seeing from him, is that one's a called strike. Of course, Christian Powell having to leave with shoulder injury, or not injury I shouldn't say, but just threw out his arm basically. It happens, and no point trying to rush him back with a couple weeks left of the season. 1-1. That one's in the dirt. Great stop by Brody Briggs.
Yeah, especially with the guy over there just 90 feet away.
Baltz, the lefty bat, of course, righty behind the plate. Gonna get that second run in for the Miners, maybe more. 2-1 pitch from Halverson. Swung on and missed.
Haven't seen a lot of swings and misses yet. It's got to feel good for Halverson.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Deuce is wild for Halverson. Trying to limit the damage here. Just giving up 1 to these Miners, and they had bases loaded, nobody out. Back-to-back fielders' choices. Set at the belt now. The 2-2. Fouled away. These Miners just keep fighting. It's probably
So
what Halverson's
difficult
thinking.
to strike out. And Halverson, a great strikeout guy.
That ball is brought to you by ABC Alaska.
So we'll try again with the 2-2. 1 hit this inning for the Miners. That was by Wilcox, and then the 2 walks, McCausland and Kerr, sandwiched in between that. Halverson ready, runner goes, 2-2, fouled back, and Patrizi will have to retreat to first.
Yeah, surprised we haven't seen these runners moving prior to that pitch. I haven't seen it in this first inning, and it's a team that loves to run.
So a lengthy top half of the first inning. Of course, considering what happened to the Chinooks less than a week ago, 1 run in the first inning, no matter how long it is a lot better than that 6 spot the Chinooks put up.
Definitely.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Halverson ready? Hope he'll check on first.
And even though it seems like the Bucs are almost out of the woods here, all 6 of those runs coming in that Chinooks game coming with 2 outs, so
Exactly right.
Halverson still got to concentrate here.
Bucs were able to get the first 2 outs, no problem, and then Chinooks seemed 8 or 9 guys to reach. 2-2, popped him up. Will Burns just behind shortstop will make the grab, so Halverson loads the bases with nobody out, but just gives up the 1 run. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, and 2 left on base. We head to the bottom half of the first inning. The Miners won, and the Bucs coming up when we come back. Bottom half of the first inning, the Miners got one. It was a fielder's choice. Play went to second base, but the bases were loaded. Bucks traded an out for a run, and considering it was bases loaded, nobody out, sure Halverson will take that one run, as well the rest of the Bucks will. And now Cole Carlone will lead it off. We've seen him batting in the leadoff spot more as of late. Didn't start like that. He grounds this one up the middle, but that was Ryan Cochran who made that play at shortstop.
And he talked about Carlone in that leadoff spot. I talked to him a little bit before the game about it, whether he likes it or not. He said, yeah, it's cool, but something he had never done before. Prior to a few weeks ago, we obviously knew that he hadn't done it earlier in the season with the Bucs, but had never really done it in his life. More of a 3-4-5 guy, he said.
So Will Burns will bat in the 2-hole. We've seen him and Carlone almost switching off for batting leadoff. We used to see Zane Kelly do it a lot, Max Ross as well. Ross has been dealing with that thumb injury. Zane Kelly has just been not in the lineup as of late. Burns hits this one down the line, and eerily similar to the first inning against the Pilots, I believe, where he was so close to guiding that one down the same left field line.
He's been hitting the ball so hard lately and just missing fair balls, or on a couple just missing home runs. And at some point soon, you think that the explosion's got to be coming.
Quickly down 0-2, the pitch just gets a piece of it foul. Hostetler coming off that 7-inning win, just giving up 1 earned run, 12 Ks, no walks.
Yeah, these Bucs should not expect to take any walks today against him.
Burns, not the best count for that. 0-2 almost hits him and fouls it away. Well, Ridley's coming in there from Hostetler, you could tell.
I'm a little curious how Hostetler hadn't been in a starting role earlier in the season with the way he's been pitching.
And he had the endurance. His first outing was a 6-inning relief outing. Then 4 innings back-to-back. Not back-to-back days, but 4 innings. 0-2 on the outside corner, called strike 3. Perfectly placed fastball, and Will Burns is frozen.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a ton you can do about that pitch. Just perfect pitching from Hostetler. Played at Whitman College in Washington, but he'll be an Oregon State Beaver this coming year as a senior. California native, and he's tall on that bump, 6'5", 235.
Oregon State, really good program that's neither in the ACC or SEC. First pitch to Andrew Lamb was fouled back. Of course, Travis Bazana out of Australia. First pick just yesterday out of Oregon State. Adley Rutschman.
Yep.
Tons of other Oregon State players.
Believe they'll be playing a Mountain West schedule as them in Washington State. The Pac-2, all we got left at this point.
0-1 ground ball out to second. Dom Patrizzi has it and ends a quiet inning for the Bucs as they go down 1-2-3. We head to the top of the second inning. Slow 1-0 lead for the Miners. Top half of the second inning, Dick Maslia and Will Hopkins here with you at Anchorage, Alaska. Clyde Howerson back out there. The cloud cover is creeping over the part of the field. That sun is starting to go away. 1-2-3 bottom half of the first for the Bucs, and due up for the Miners is 7, 8, and 9, starting with Ryan Cochran. First pitch in there called strike. Halverson struggled last inning, loaded the bases. That was a walk, single, and a walk, and got back-to-back fielder's choices. One of them involved a run scoring, but just the one run. After those fielder's choices, got the fly ball out. And like I said, after loading the bases with nobody out, it's a great job just surrendering the one run.
Yeah, he would love a quick inning here. Didn't get much rest from the Bucs bats, that's for sure.
Hostetler looked really good on the hill. That electric fastball. See if Halverson can find a groove and settle in. He's ahead 1-2. Pitch is hit to right field, and it's going to go foul. Struck pretty well.
But another Miners hitter just staying alive with 2 strikes. Not a team you're going to strike out on 3 or 4 pitches.
Saw a couple of full count at bats to the Miners that they won. This one is hit foul again. Kerr drew that walk to lead it off on a 3-2 count. McCausland also a 3-2 count. Just long at bats in general. That's what I remember from the Miners.
Yep. Especially during that doubleheader.
1-2 pitch misses away, and for Halverson, it's got to be a really lonely feeling out there because you're throwing competitive pitches and they're just fouling it off, and then you feel like you have to get a chase.
And they're not chasing.
2-2. Same location, different pitch, low and outside.
And Briggs seemed like he liked the pitch. Only problem is now you've got 3 balls, so you miss one more time and they've got a guy aboard. And for Halverson, you already threw 32 in the first inning.
Payoff pitch, here it is. Just gets a piece of it foul. Probably swung at ball 4.
Yeah, I don't even know if he went around, in all honesty, just to check swing.
Halverson only going 3 innings in his last start. Hate to see that again, but if another long inning happens here in the second, you might be thinking about it. 3-2. That's going to be down for a base hit, and it's going to split the gap. Andrew Lamb is going to try to cut it off in right center field. He does just before the warning track, but that is going to be a stand-up double for Ryan Cochran as he leads off the Miners.
Yeah, just great hitting from Cochran to even get to the place where he can see that pitch, fighting off pitch after pitch, taking some tough pitches, and eventually these guys are going to straighten it out if they're putting contact on so many balls, and he did that in a big way there. And for Halverson, would have loved to have a much cleaner inning, and now the leadoff man's in scoring position.
That ball immediately off the bat did not look like it was hit hard enough to split it, to split the gap out there, but it was hit pretty hard. And eventually just was hit perfectly in between Hunsaker and Lamb out there, and one of them had to track it down. So that'll bring up Strohmeyer. Kellen Strohmeyer playing in right field tonight. First one he sees is fouled away. Dunham, the bullpen coach for the Bucs, standing ominously outside of the bullpen, just potentially waiting on if they need to get a reliever going.
I mean, the number of foul balls already is just incredible. Seems like every pitch in the zone is a foul ball.
0-1. Check swing. They'll appeal, but it doesn't matter. He went anyways. And it seems like although fouling off pitches and getting one you want to hit is a good thing, it seems like something they haven't really done as much, because even with all the foul balls, there's still a team with a lower average team average. 0-2. One's outside. I'm wondering now if you know, what we remember about the Miners is they are just a pesky team. They'll foul off a lot of pitches. I wonder if they just, in a sense, foul off too many good pitches, and maybe that's why they don't have the better average.
Yeah, I don't know. It is. Their offense is interesting, that's for sure.
Some of the most amount of runs in the league, but a lower average. Doesn't really make a lot of sense. 1-2, fouled away.
And my first thing was, oh, well, if their average is low and they're scoring runs, they must just be hammering the ball, home runs, doubles, but their slugging isn't crazy high either. So it really just comes from those stolen bases and more about when you're getting the hits than how many. They're getting them when guys are on, and the Bucs did a good job of keeping that from happening last inning.
1 ball, 2 strikes, and at least 6 foul balls in this at-bat. Next pitch. One's outside. Briggs looked at going to second, but no one was over there. Cochran was able to scamper back.
For Halverson, 46 pitches now. Hostetler threw just 8 in the first, all of them strikes.
Miners just killing Howerson with foul balls. 2 balls, 2 strikes, the pitch in the dirt.
I mean, I don't think we've seen them, other than that check swing foul ball, I don't think we've seen them swing at a pitch outside the zone. Some of these pitches look like strikes so much of the way, and they just have such good discipline at the plate.
3 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out still. Walk would set up the force play, but still wouldn't want one. 3-2. Cold strike 3. Halverson finally gets his man. I think he had a little something to say about it after. Nothing crazy, but definitely could see him say something, and that nothing to the player at all, but I'm sure something like, oh, thank goodness I could get that out finally.
Great for Halvey.
Something along those lines of, man, finally they just keep the bat on their shoulders when I throw it down the middle.
A guy that gets so many strikeouts now getting his first here tonight.
So Riker scowl bat, and hopefully that fires up Halverson a little bit. First pitch just gets a piece of it foul.
Coming into play, almost 2 strikeouts per inning for Halverson. 37 strikeouts in 21 innings.
So Scow will face Halverson with that runner aboard at second.
So weird to see the DH batting 9th.
We've seen the DH bat in the leadoff spot. We had that one game where Carlone was DH in the leadoff spot, and I believe it was the Oilers or someone
It
also
was
had
definitely 2 teams. It was definitely us and the opponent, though, like you said. I think this is weirder, though.
I agree. 1 ball, 1 strike to Scow. An outfielder when he doesn't DH. That one's in the dirt. Can't imagine the relief it was for Halverson getting that strikeout after just so many foul balls, and only faced 2 batters, but it seemed like he's faced 5 in this inning alone. 2 balls, 1 strike, the pitch. Ground ball out to short. Will Burns will take it, look back the runner, and delivers to first, and that's out number 2.
And the way this game's going, a 4-pitch at bat feels like a 1-pitch at bat.
Oh, of course. Sure, that's a big sign of relief for Halverson up there, but now a tough bat, and it's Drake Kerr who drew a 9-pitch walk in his first at bat just last inning. Halverson certainly challenged Kerr, but Kerr was a pest up there, fouling off any pitch he could find in the zone that he didn't want. That one's a called strike. But like I said, it's just a team that maybe, I know this is crazy to say, just maybe they're fouling off too many good pitches.
Yeah.
Pitches in the zone that they should be barreling up.
Yeah, they're getting their bat on everything, but maybe not the right part of the bat.
Exactly. But with 2 hits today, both of them were hit pretty hard. 1's low and away, but as a pitcher, that just frustrates you. You're basically saying, I've got so many good pitches, I'm throwing you in the zone, and that's the only way. But also for pitchers, it takes so long to figure it out. Even if you do figure it out, you still got to tell yourself, well, do I really got to pitch right down the middle to get these guys out? We'll see. 1-1. Misses inside.
But if Halverson can get Kerr, I think these Miners are going to have a lot of regrets with just 1 run over these first 2 innings. A lot of time with the bases loaded last inning, and then a leadoff double here. Leaving some opportunities on the table. Would love to see Halverson shut the door on this top of the second.
Now up to 55 pitches. 2-1. Hit foul. He's 1 pitch away, but of course that 1 pitch could be 5 or 6 pitches now from now. If Kerr can reach, it'll be Wilcox, who had a single back last inning. Halverson ready. Set at the bell. Now the pitch. Cold strike 3. He gets Kerr looking, and Halverson finishes off the inning in dominant fashion. 2 strikeouts and a ground ball out. We head to the bottom half of the second inning. Still 1-0 Miners. Bottom half of the second inning, Ryan Callahan stepping up to the batter's box. Last inning, Howerson, despite the leadoff double, got 2 strikeouts and a ground ball out and looked really good in that inning. And speaking of looking really good, Jack Hostetler looked really good back in that first inning.
Nothing but strikes.
2 ground outs and a strikeout, but Callahan takes a big cut and miss at that. And Hostetler, you could tell, has a little bit extra velo on those fastballs, and probably the reason why he's going to Oregon State. A really good baseball program, and I mentioned, not an SEC or ACC school. 0-1, just gets a piece of it foul. And if you watch the draft, of course, Travis Bazzano goes first pick, but after that, it was SEC, ACC, SEC, ACC.
Yep. I mean, the Pac-12 used to be dominant
Right.
conference, and now hardly even a conference.
Yeah. But Oregon State definitely not to be messed with when it comes to college baseball. 0-2. Fouled away, of course, unless you're the Kentucky Wildcats. Oregon State just a couple games away from making it back to Omaha. Still a remarkable season for them. 0-2. Just a bit outside. And I should have screamed just a bit outside, because that's exactly what the home plate umpire said.
Vocal guy back there.
He lets it be known. 1-2. That one. Whacked foul again, as it's our Miners broadcast partners.
Talking about Oregon State, though, the Pac-2 at this point, Rylan Hyder, who just left this morning after what was planned, just how long he'd stay here, going to Washington State. He said Corvallis, where Oregon State is a super fun place to play.
1-2 misses outside. I got to talk with Rylan this morning before he left, and unfortunate to see him go, but I think because he knew that it was coming, is ready to go back home. He's served his time here. Definitely wished he could get back out there Saturday or yesterday. 1-2 fouled away again, and how about a taste of your own medicine? Ryan Callahan fouling balls off left and right. But going back to Hyder, no, he really wanted to pitch Saturday or yesterday. He was looking for that one last opportunity. Unfortunately, just couldn't get it. But what a remarkable summer he had, and just a great arm out of the bullpen. 2-2, fouled back, and Callahan really fighting here.
Yeah, impressive from Callahan. Probably took him longer than he thought to get out there for this one. DHing in first inning and a half, taking a little bit of time, but he's locked in from the get-go.
And I don't know if Dew is scheduled to go pitch, but he should be well warmed up. He's having to run foul balls back and forth between the dugout and the home plate umpire. So that one's low and in.
I think that might have caught the home plate umpire on the shin guard.
And I don't think Dew came to this game expecting to have to visit the home plate umpire as much as he has with the amount of foul balls that have been hit.
He's been a busy man.
3-2 pitch. Hit to center field, down for a base hit. How about that? A lengthy at-bat, but Ryan Callahan gets it done. 0-2 to 3-2. How many pitches, Will?
That single coming on pitch number 10.
Wow. 10 pitch at-bat. That is longer than the Drake Kerr leadoff at-bat. Both of them leadoff at-bats, one for the first at-bat of the game, of course. But Callahan gets the first hit for the Bucs. And a well-deserved one at that. Hostetler cannot be too pleased if he's out there. Peyton Knowles will bat. First pitch he sees is up and away.
And for Knowles, that's shown more than enough comfortability playing both second and the outfield, but now back to where we were more used to seeing him earlier in the season.
1-0, hits it foul to play. Yeah, Knowles mostly an infielder when it comes to college ball.
Yep.
But of course we saw him mostly in the outfield. But a guy similar to Lamb that could play almost any position.
And with Martell Davis coming in, it gives him the luxury to go to the outfield.
1-1 fouls it back, and I think Knowles is a little bit angry. He just missed that one, or maybe shouldn't have swung. There's Dew out there again. Almost feel bad for him. Hope he does have to come into the game so someone else can give him a break.
Yeah, he took off the hoodie, maybe getting a little hot running back and forth. Get that guy some water or a Powerade or something. He's working out.
1-2, misses up and away. Hankins, of course, a mainstay in the infield, would probably be more of a third baseman now, giving up that second base spot to Davis. But of course, we could be ignorant to the fact that Davis could be more of a corner infielder. We just have no idea. 2-2. That one's outside. Callahan fake win, and now another payoff pitch, and it seems like Knowles is really locked in out there.
Yeah, Hostetler not nearly as sharp, and I think these Bucks hitters maybe just having a bit of a different approach against him this time around, but even with just one man on, they seem to be putting up better fights for sure.
3-2, popped him up. Let's hope this one gets out of play nearing the dugout, and it will. Just goes into the first row on the grandstand. Young fan holds that one in.
Hostetler throwing just 8 pitches in the first inning, 10 to Callahan, and about to throw a 7th to Knowles, so night and day.
It's probably a combination of how the first inning went, considering how little of pitches Hostetler throw, and probably how the Miners have been playing. 3-2 again is hit well to center field, but Drake Kerr is going to track that one down. Peyton Knowles gave it a ride, but comes up empty. It's an F8. That'll bring up Josh Hankins.
Yeah, really hit that solidly. Unfortunately, really just hanging up in center field for Kerr.
Josh Hankins.
So Hankins and Briggs hopefully get to see Martell Davis's first at-bat of the summer in this inning.
Would love to.
First pitch roped. Foul down the line. Hankins batting .213. He's driven in 6, and he's walked 10 times. So definitely really good plate discipline and a good eye.
And a great fielder.
Great fielder, absolutely. And that's why they want him out there every single day. But has shown glimpses of really good at-bats. And sometimes we'll have a really good at-bat, just unfortunately comes up empty. But those 10 walks, definitely a good bit considering that he has 47 at-bats, which is on the lower end, I would say. Still working up there, but nowhere near the at-bats of Cole and Will Burns, as that one gets down into center field for a base hit. Josh Hankins goes to center field, and now 2 on with just 1 out for Brody Briggs.
Not the hardest hit ball, but just placed perfectly, spinning over the head of Patrizi, and you dump that ball into shallow right center. Nobody's getting to that one, and you don't always have to hit it the hardest. Sometimes just as much, if not more, about where you hit it, and Hankins doing a good job of that and keeping this line moving.
And because it's so early, these are really good base hits from the Bucks because they're not hit necessarily super hard, but both Callahans and Hankins were hit up the middle, and it just goes to show you that the approach is there, but they don't really have to hit it hard. With a guy like Hostetler on the hill, you really just have to barrel it up, and the Vila lets the ball do the work for you.
100%.
So you might see that early on here for the Bucks until they can really find the right timing. And once they do, they can really turn on some baseballs. We'll see if Briggs can find that timing. 1-0, and just a little bit early on it.
Yeah, it looked like a breaking ball that he swung right over top of.
Davis on deck. Be his first at-bat of the season, barring a double play. This one to Briggs. It's a called strike.
Briggs, a tough guy to double up.
Yeah, might be a catcher, but certainly doesn't have the legs of a catcher. It gets down the line really quickly.
Especially from that left-handed hitting batter's box.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Hostetler ready. Now the delivery. Ground ball. This could be 2. Patrizi will tag the runner. Throws to first. And they're going to say the runner at second is safe, but the runner at first in Brody Briggs is out by the throw. Josh Hankins evaded the tag.
And you can see why Patrizi went for the tag, because I don't think he would have had time to flip to second and then have his shortstop Ryan Cochran go to first. So I think that was their only chance of turning 2, but didn't end up getting the lead runner.
So good job by Hankins being alert and avoiding that tag. It prolongs the inning. Now second and third, 2 outs for Martell Davis. First pitch he sees is cut on and missed.
Davis, 6'2", 185 out of Seminole, Oklahoma. Started his ball at Seminole State College there and then transferred to Oral Roberts, where he hit 247 this year in 50 games, 45 starts.
0-1 fouled back. First pitch looked pretty late. That one definitely looked more on time for it, but a tough guy to face in your first at bat. Oral Roberts made their College World Series run not too long ago. Good baseball team. 0-2. Low and away.
And for Davis, 158 at-bats this year, 34 runs, 3 home runs, and 21 runs driven in, and a good chance to drive in a couple here.
Callahan at third, Hankins at second. 1-2. Swung on and missed. He gets Davis swinging. The Bucs will strand 2 runners at second and third. We head to the third inning, so the 1-0 lead for the Miners. One zero Miners. Halverson back out on the hill. A really good last inning after the leadoff double. Strikeout, ground ball out, and another strikeout. He'll face Chase Wilcox, who singled back in the first inning in his first time facing Wyatt Halverson tonight. First pitch he sees in the third is fouled away.
Much better second inning than first from Halverson. Really locked in after that leadoff double.
Back in the first, struggled with the top half of the order. Walk, single, and a walk, loaded the bases with nobody out. That one catches the inside part of the plate, and Wilcox has a little talk with the home plate umpire. That one did look a bit inside, but
yeah, not a home plate umpire I'd be quick to chat with.
Wilcox does not stand too close to the plate, so a valid argument. Down the count 0-2, the pitch is in the dirt. After it loaded the bases, fielder's choice, right back to him. Spun through home to get the out, and then Patrizzi grounded out to second base, but that did score a run. 1-2, little tapper back out to Halverson. He collects, and an underhand toss to Carlone gets the first out.
And huge to get that first out, not something Halverson had done to this point, and make things a little bit easier on himself.
So Kyle McCausland, that walk back in the first inning, ended up getting all the way around to third base with the fielder's choices, but could not get home. Only one scoring was Drake Kerr. First pitch he sees is a called strike from Halverson. Bucs just playing one game in the Mayor's Cup. The other 2 were rained out and will be played at a later date versus the Pilots. And Arm has begun warming up in the bullpen just in case Halverson has more trouble. His pitch count is getting up there, though. It was getting up there since about the first inning. Now at 63 pitches, 64 pitches.
And talking about those rainouts, Game 2 of the Mayor's Cup will be on July 24th at noon. The other game will be part of a doubleheader on July 26th. Not 100% sure on the timing on that yet.
The last one low and outside. 3 balls, 1 strike to McCausland. Walk back in the first. Might be looking for another one right here. The pitch from Halverson. Big cut and a miss. McCausland trying to uncork something on that last swing.
Yeah, got him to chase a heater. It looked to be a little bit upstairs and inside, and not a lot of chases on pitches like that so far today.
Payoff pitch is popped up. That might stay in play. In foul ground, it's going to be Carlone heading over there. And he makes the grab for out number 2.
Great stuff from Halverson. Got into another 3-2 count and was able to induce a super weak fly ball. And now would love to see this 1-2-3 inning if he can get Perez.
So Christian Perez, who grounded into a fielder's choice. That fielder's choice did not play to run. It was hit right back to Halverson, who went home with it. So Perez did reach. Takes a ball there. .102 to him is off the plate. 2 balls, no strikes. Trying to identify who's in the bullpen warming up for the Bucs. A little hard to tell with those camo jerseys, huh?
Might be Andrew Rudd.
That's what I was thinking. That one's low and in. I think I could see that 1-1 over there. Rudd's been really good for the Bucs. Seen him pitch long relief and just 1 inning here or there. Can do it all. 3-0 pitch. That catches a corner. He's back in the count. Halverson now over 70 pitches. 3-1. Ground ball out to Carlone. This should do it. He'll take it himself, and Halverson has a quick 1-2-3 inning. That's good to see. Hopefully the Bucs bats will wake up a little bit as we head to the bottom half of the third. Still a 1-0 lead for the Miners. Bottom third here, Riley Hunsaker back out there. We saw him about a week ago, a little over a week ago, came in and just played 2 innings and struggled to get to a ball out in center field, and they had to pull him back out. Was dealing with that hamstring injury and has just been nursing it back, and hopefully is now past all these struggles. They'll face Hostetler, and then the top half of the order will face him again as that one's outside. And looking at the dugout, seeing the normal crew out there in front of the dugout who sits at the end. Those are the troublemakers, of course. Garvey Rummery, the head of that pack, and it's his birthday. 20 years old today. So that one's a called strike to Hunsaker. Want to wish him a good birthday, and looked really good so far. One of the best pitchers for the Bucs, and right now has a, how about this? Hold on, I gotta find it. .52 ERA. I don't know why it took me that long to find, but wow, he has just been pitching lights out.
Yeah, he's been fantastic, and would have loved to see him pitching on his birthday, just not the way the rotation worked out. Said he's expecting to get a cake later, not sure what type. I know his mom and girlfriend are visiting, so nice timing on that for him to be able to celebrate with them for his birthday.
1-2. Swung on and missed. He gets Hunsaker on a strikeout swinging. That's the first out here in the third, and that is the third strikeout for Hostetler, one in each inning now, and Cole Carlone will
To the plate,
step up to the
first
dish,
baseman,
ground it
number
out to the
82,
shortstop
number
Ryan
23,
Cochran in his
Cole
first at bat.
Carlone making a couple plays in the field last half inning. Like we always say, got to keep an eye on the left side of this whole field, even over the fence.
First one to Carlone, he rolls over on it but fouls it away.
Of course, down the right field line right after I say that.
Carlone can go just about anywhere. Opposite field up the middle and pull side too. And you're saying there might be Andrew Rudd out there in the bullpen. Looking more like it's Chad Gurney, who you didn't think at first because he's been normally a starter as of late for the Bucs. It definitely looks like him out there. Tough to tell with the jerseys. No balls, one strike to Carlone. The pitch in the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike. Out there, the troublemakers besides Garvey Rummery. Adam Inyard is in that crowd. Eli Lipinski for sure. Zane Kelly makes his way down there. Dew would normally be down there if he wasn't on foul ball duties. Hyder used to be over there when he was still with the Bucs. One's outside to Carlone. Max Ross also in there too. At a certain point of the game, it seems like everyone starts to migrate down there, and then you got the whole team kind of just messing around.
Everyone on that top step.
2 balls, 1 strike, and this one's fouled away. And I was asking Hyder before he left, just the vibes of the team. What's everyone feeling? He's just like everyone's loose and comfortable, and the chemistry is really good, and everything's just kind of flowing. And that's exactly what it looks like from up here, and from what we experience being around the team, is just everyone's just feeling good and just loose, really locked in and focused. 2-2. Hit well to center field. Is going to drift out to left center field, so Kyle McCausland will haul that one in. 2 down.
Yeah, going the other way with it, but a little bit too high for this park. And talking about that chemistry that you mentioned, it really seemed like from day one that these guys were super comfortable around each other. And just great to see, because in summer ball, can't always say that's the case, but your experience is going to be so much better if it is.
So Will Burns will bat. He struck out looking in his first plate appearance back in the first inning, and that was an extra look towards the Miners dugout. I don't know why. That was a called strike. 0-1 to Burns. Called strike. And I was asking Hyder if there's anybody sticking out that looks extra locked in and focused on this year and just really poised. And Will Burns was, of course, one of the first names he brought up. And it was tough for him to think because everyone has kind of just been locked in. 0-2 barely gets a piece of it, but Burns is a guy who you just wouldn't expect him to be silly or goofy, but when you really have a conversation with him, he's definitely a fun guy to talk to, and got to meet his family, and they were very nice. But Will Burns definitely a silent killer. You poke him too many times, he's really going to howl at you. Called strike 3 on the outer half. Burns is down on strikes once again, and another 1-2-3 quick and easy inning for Hostetler. We head to the top half of the 4th inning. Score still 1-0 Miners. Welcome back here. Top half of the fourth inning on the hill for the Bucs now is Chad Gurney. For Gurney, this is his fifth appearance. The righty has started in 3 games, but came out of the bullpen in his first couple of appearances. 17 innings pitched. He's given up 11 hits and 8 earned runs. Couple of tough last outings, but in general this whole season has been a pretty solid pitcher. And now for the play-by-play, here's Will Hopkins.
Appreciate it, Vic. First pitch coming to Dom Patrizzi, and that one's inside. And Gurney's very last outing was against these Miners, game 1 of the doubleheader last Monday. 6 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 4 walks, and 5 strikeouts. So super good stuff from him that day. As he finds the zone to even the count against Patrizzi, it was a Drake Kerr single and a McCausland single in the first inning, and then the next 5 hitless for these Miners. But there's a hit to get things started from Patrizzi against Gurney. But Gurney pitching the first 6 of that 7-inning game. First of 2 2-0 wins for these Bucs. And just like that start, first batter he faces reaches with a single, but 6 innings, no run. So hopefully he can get out of this without Patrizzi coming around. We'll close the line on Wyatt Halverson. 3 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, which was earned. 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, both of them looking.
I really like how Halverson settled in there at the end and let that first inning dictate how the rest of the start was going to go. And of course, it was a short one. Still bounced back really well and gave the team a good chance at winning this ballgame.
Just a bit outside to Blake Baltz, who flew out to Will Burns to end the first inning. And for Halverson, just unfortunate. Didn't pitch particularly poorly, but pitch count just got up there so quickly. 72 pitches for him in just the 3 innings.
Yeah, just unfortunate that first inning, but like I said, giving up 1 run with the bases loaded and nobody out, and that's a really good job, and just able to weather the storm, and at bat by at bat started to look better and better. That's all you can ask for.
1-0 testing the left side, but good play by Peyton Knowles to charge that one and secure it for the first out. Ball was really dipping on the left fielder for the Bucs, and even after a few weeks on the infield, looked pretty comfortable making that play and left.
Yeah, and Bouts is a lefty, so when he hits it out there, it's got that spin that kind of makes the ball die down. And for Knowles, a good job just freezing right there, not taking a step back, not taking a step in, and really reading it well, and is able to track it down. It looks easy, but I can assure you it is not.
Dom Patrizzi still at first base. Gurney checks on him, but he's back safely. Ryan Cochran, who doubled to get things started in the second. He was stranded over there at second. Watches one outside. After him, it would be Strohmeyer, but Gurney hoping for a play up the middle where Burns and Davis could combine for the first time. Martell Davis, a new addition to this roster, getting his first time out there for the Bucs today.
And an unfortunate first at bat for him, facing a tough pitcher in Hostetler who's just got an electric fastball. And I'm not sure how long Davis has gone without seeing live pitching, but I'm sure it's been a little bit, at least a week, I would say, unless he's coming straight off of another league.
Grounder to the left side. Hankins has it over to Davis, and unfortunately, they are going to say it's an out. Not so sure about that one. They say, I guess, that it's on the transfer, so the Bucs get the force play at second. Cochran safe on the fielder's choice, and I think the Bucs may be lucky to even getting out there.
Yeah, they are really lucky, and Davis a good job of just sticking with that ball.
I don't know if they're saying it was on the transfer or saying that he picked it up in time to get the out anyways. Bucs were looking to turn 2. It was going to be a tough play because Hankins had to get over to that baseball. But now 2 away for Kellen Strohmeyer. He struck out looking and swings and misses at the first pitch from Gurney. Another check at first from Gurney.
And that ball just totally popping out of the glove of Davis. I don't even want to say he was rushing a little bit and was focusing too much on the throw. The ball just totally went in and came right back out.
Hit in the air to center field. Couple steps back and now a step forward for Riley Hunsaker. Third out, a scoreless top of the 4th in Gurney's first inning of work. Hopefully the Bucs can tie things up when we come back in the bottom of the 4th. bottom of the fourth inning. Good stuff from Chad Gurney in his first inning of relief work in the top half. Now Jack Hostetler still out there for the Miners, has kept his pitch count much lower than Halverson did, although he has gotten it up over the last few innings, up to 49 now after just 8 pitches, so 41 over the last couple of innings. And see if Andrew Lamb can get something going here for the Bucs as they trail 1-0, and Hostetler finds the zone on the outside corner. Lamb, Callahan, and Knowles, heart of this Bucs order. 1 run on 3 hits for the Miners, no runs on 2 hits for the Bucs. Lamb testing second base. Patrizzi has it, an inaccurate throw to Christian Perez for a quick first out.
Yeah, and good solid contact from Lamb. He's always hitting the ball hard. I love that about him. And unfortunate, just not able to creep through the hole there.
Second ground out to second for Lamb. Hitting the ball to Patrizzi twice so far. And now Ryan Callahan, who picked up the Bucs' first base hit, that coming in the second inning. Serving as a designated hitter. We've seen him at third, at first. This one is given a ride to right, but hangs up in right field for Strohmeyer, and now 2 outs on 3 pitches for Hostetler. Just as I said, the Bucs were doing a better job of working up the pitch count.
Yeah, similar to back in the first inning. He had a quick 1-2-3. It seemed 6 or 7 pitches was all he needed, and now it might be even less.
It was 8 pitches, all of them strikes in the first. Now 3 pitches, all of them strikes in the fourth, and Peyton Knowles, the man who can break up the 1-2-3. He flew out to Kerr in center. Takes one low and inside.
We've seen some low-scoring games for the Bucs. We've seen almost every type of game. We saw that one big loss to the Chinooks. That was the first time we saw that. But we've seen some low-scoring games, and this could be another one where it's just a big pitcher's duel, and whoever can sneak across a couple more runs than the opponent will most likely win. I wouldn't be surprised if Hostetler can go 6-7 innings here, and Miners bullpen has a stellar outing too.
1 pitch is a strike, so 1 and 2 for the Bucs. 127 runs. That still leads ABL play. Miners with 119, but they've played one more game than the Bucs. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Good eye from Knowles. Leaving that one for the Worms. Deuce is wild here in the 4th inning. Knowles trying to get on base here for the Bucs and prevent the second consecutive 1-2-3. That'll help. Way upstairs that time from Hostetler. Still 15 balls and 42 strikes for the righty. That's kind of what we expected coming in.
Yeah, not surprised, and he's just got a big arm and fills up the zone.
There's ball 4 for just the 3rd time this season. Jack Hostetler walks the batter, and of course it's Peyton Knowles. Took what, 3 walks last game?
Yep, 3 walks, 2 base hits. Was on all 5 times he came to the plate. And now for Peyton Knowles, that is his 13th walk. He's had 35 at bats, but comparatively to Burns and Carlone and Briggs, who have 60 plus, put Tommy Eisenstadt in that conversation. Those guys, 6 walks for Cole Carlone and Brody Briggs, respectively. Tommy Eisenstadt with 10, but now with Peyton Knowles with 13 walks. Wow. And limited at bats.
Really impressive stuff from the second baseman and outfielder as Hankins takes a strike to even the count. Josh Hankins with Brody Briggs on deck and the new Buck Martell Davis in the hole. Bucks trying to get on the scoreboard. Hostetler's thrown 60 pitches now. And there's another strike, and Hankins will have to fight down 1 and 2, but that's what Knowles was at, and he was able to earn his walk.
I'm just surprised that Knowles still is on the lower end for at-bats. Seems like he's an everyday player now.
Walks don't increase at bats, so that's part of the reason. That pitch is way outside from Hostetler.
But even with the walks, still around, I guess, the high 40s, which makes more sense, I would say. But I would think he'd be at least in the 50s now, seeing him every day playing. But now a 30-14 average after that really good day. He's one of the best Bucs hitters.
Deuce is wild again, and Hankins doing a great job to just get a piece of that one to stay alive, and I think it Caught the catcher, Blake Baltz. Appears to be all right. Hankins doing everything he can to stay alive. Saw some of that from the Miners the first couple of innings. Knowles at first, Hankins at the plate. Deuce is wild here in the 4th inning. Bucs looking for hit number 3 and run number 1. Hostetler ready, and he brings it. That one's way inside, and it hits Hankins. Big cheer from the Bucs dugout. Hankins will take first that way, and now 2 on with 2 out. A little bit of a 2-out rally here brewing for the Bucs.
Yeah, we've seen the Bucs do a good job with 2 outs and starting 2-out rallies, scoring a lot of runs and just keeping the line moving. I think that's the best time to use it, is when it's 2 outs, just keeping everyone going, keeping that order moving and getting guys up any way you can, whether it's a walk, base hits, extra base hits. Find a way to get past the baton.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Hankins may have been plunked last game. If not last game, pretty recently. Brody Briggs up now. He grounded out. His speed kind of in the back of the mind for Dom Patrizzi, who tried to tag the runner in front of him to get to double play, knowing how quickly Briggs would be running. And that one coming in pretty tight to the Bucs catcher. And Hostetler not as sharp with his command here in the 4th.
No, not really. And when you're a guy that throws hard like that, his misses are really magnified because he throws so hard. You could just see that it takes a little bit of extra effort from Baltz there, who has to reach over across the plate each time.
Yeah, and they're able to get the strike call that time. Must have just caught the outside corner for an even count on Briggs. Knowles at second, Hankins at first. Some good speed out there on the base pass for the Bucs. Some good speed in the box as well. 1-1 well outside, and first few innings, even when Hostetler was missing, it was pretty close, but some of these misses here have been a little bit more obvious. Still a really good ball to strike ratio for him, but just after those first few innings, not exactly what we'd expect. 2-1s well outside.
Yeah, and just not super competitive pitches, and these Bucs batters are spitting on good pitches to keep outside of the zone, and they're not going to expand their zone just because Hostetler has looked good through the first couple of innings, and I think that's what makes the Bucs such a good hitting team. Is doesn't matter what happened in the past.
3 balls and a strike to Briggs, and he bounces that foul off his right leg. He'll walk around home plate to try to shake that off.
Pitch definitely in the zone from Hostetler, so good job by Brody Briggs trying to get a piece of it. Like I said, these Bucs bats are just so good, and just so good at plate discipline. Even with guys who have looked really good on the mound, pitchers that have been blowing them away first couple of frames, put together adjustments and make a change and be able to hit the guy.
3-2 pitch, hit in the air to left field. Should be routine for McCausland, and it is. The Bucs leave 2 stranded here in the bottom of the 4th. Bucs remain scoreless. Miners lead at 1-0 as we head to the 5th. Welcome back for the 5th inning. Bucs bullpen coach and first base coach Austin Dunham taking some warm-up pitches from Chad Gurney while Brody Briggs put his equipment back on. It'll be Riker, Scow, Drake Kerr, and Chase Wilcox for Gurney to face here. 9-1-2. Kerr, one of just 2 hitters to get a hit off of Gurney in his 6th inning gem in game 1 of the doubleheader, and he gets Scow to foul off the first pitch. Kerr on deck, and then McCausland would be the 4th batter to come to the plate. He was the only other man to get a hit off of Gurney, but hopefully we'll see him in the 6th, and a good start from Gurney here in the 5th, getting ahead of Scow. 0-2. Couldn't get the chase from the designated hitter.
And because Gurney has been starting in his last 3 outings, he's had 3 starts this season, can expect him to go a good bit of innings.
Hitting the ear to right center field, a decent run for Hunsaker, so he'll give way to Andrew Lamb, and there's the first out for Gurney in the 5th. Getting the ball in the air in the Alaska Baseball League, usually a good recipe as long as it's got some loft in it, not on a line. Balls just don't seem to carry, and they hang up for these outfielders. Seen a good number of fly ball outs here today. King of that we saw on the peninsula was the birthday boy, Garvey Rummery.
Sure was. 14 pop-ups we counted.
So now Drake Kerr takes a strike. Gurney gonna keep him off the base path, the speedster. Testing the right side, a diving stop by Martell Davis, and a perfect throw over to Carlone, and welcome to the Anchorage Bucs, Martell Davis.
Yeah, great play over there. Sure he wanted to make up for that dropped ball from Burns. Or no, excuse me, Hankins threw it over there. Couldn't turn the double play, but a great play over there. That's a ball that you kind of have to dive on if you really want to keep it in front, and Davis did a good job of not rushing anything too quick, and a play that he made look really easy is not actually easy if you're at home.
Definitely not. First pitch misses to Chase Wilcox. He has one of the 3 hits for the Miners, sorry.
I would love to see Gurney go 4 innings here, be a bridge to the bullpen guys, and realistically, you could finish this game with 3 pitchers, including Halverson. But the Bucs do like to go with their normal set of 4 pitchers. 4 seems to be the magic number. If it's anything less, it's one of the starters going 6, 7 innings and really carrying, and then you have that one guy in the 8th and then one guy in the 9th.
Swing and a miss from Wilcox, and would love to see Gurney go extended innings, but at the same time, getting those postponements the last couple of days, the bullpen should be pretty fresh.
Yeah. And it seems more like they use 4 pitchers not because they have to, but because they want to give guys more opportunities.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Gurney picks up his first strikeout to cap off a 1-2-3 top of the 5th, hopefully bringing some good mojo to the bottom half. Beautiful 1-2-3 top of the 5th from Chad Gurney. 8-9-1 coming up for the Bucs. Still Jack Hostetler for the Miners, and Martell Davis coming to the plate after a swinging strikeout, but he made a phenomenal play over at second just last half inning. Bounces the first one foul.
Yeah, that play was really good. A ball that he would like to smother and keep in front of him rather than try to just make a nice front-handed like play. Try to show off, and doesn't strike me as a guy who tries to show off and does things by the book.
Swing and a miss.
But of course, that's just off of one day of knowing him and one day of saying hello to him. Was here Friday, but of course, he just played that one game and then the back-to-back rainouts.
He goes down looking. Tough at-bat for Davis, who's retired on 3 pitches, and now Hunsaker will come up with nobody on and 1 out.
But I like what the coaching staff and the Bucs wants to do with Davis. They're not letting him sit on the bench for 3 or 4 games to get settled in. He sat just 1 game on Friday, and sure, he was going to be penciled into the lineup for Saturday or Sunday, and that's why he's playing today on Monday.
Hunsaker takes a strike, and at the end of the day, the only way you're really going to get into a rhythm is by playing live ball.
Exactly, and there's not a lot of time left here, so might as well throw him out there, especially if you're a little bit lower on infielders with Powell leaving.
Ideally, at the end of the season, you'd have everybody kind of in a groove and ready to come off the bench whenever possible, and with such a big lead in the ABL standings, it's a good luxury that you have to give these guys that chance. 3-game lead over the Oilers right now for the Bucs.
And that big lead, you're probably talking about big lead over that 4th spot in the Pilots, who, of course, it's 4 out of the 5 teams make it to the playoffs. One plays 4, 2 plays 3 in a best-of-3 series. The winner, they play each other in the championship series.
And a 9-game lead over the Chinooks for 5th place. Hunsaker tips this one.
Yeah, the Chinooks just struggling and falling further and further behind the Pilots.
It's interesting, they haven't seemed all that uncompetitive in a lot of these games against the Bucs.
Not at all. And they did pick up their first win against the Bucs less than a week ago, and that was a 10-4 victory.
2-2, another strikeout for Hostetler, his 2nd this inning, 6th in total, and now Carlone the only man that can prevent a 1-2-3.
Carlone's still looking for his first hit. Be good timing here, but if you're the Bucs, you don't want to have to rely on that 2-out rally to get things going. Last inning they tried to, and Briggs eventually flew out to the left fielder, which ended it.
Just 2 hits for the Bucs so far. Carlone, a good man who can increase that number. Swings at the first pitch, hits it in the air down the left field line. McCausland over in foul territory, and he makes the play. Another 1-2-3 inning for Jack Hostetler, his 3rd, I believe, of this game, and Bucs still scoreless through 5, 1-0 as we head to the 6th. Top of the 6th inning. Chad Gurney's done a great job so far, and the way Hostetler's been pitching and these Bucs have been at the plate, he's got to really keep this at just a 1-run lead and do everything he can to continue the great stuff he's done so far. Not a lot of margin for error.
Yeah, you're exactly right, and we've seen some low-scoring games. Haven't been too used to them. The Bucs bats have been really good all year, but definitely a game where all it takes is that 1 or 2 run inning where it's the difference maker. But for the Bucs, hasn't been much traffic on the bases at all.
Yep, add-on runs for the Miners would be huge. Bucs got to do everything they can to prevent it. This one hit a mile in the air to shallow left field. Peyton Knowles coming on, and it'll be his ball. 2 pitches, retires McCausland.
Well, you're right. For Gurney, just really has to be sharp and can't have many mistakes versus this Miners team. And they're going to take advantage of you, and just a 1-run deficit to work with for Gurney if he just keeps retiring these Miners guys and not allowing a run. Just gives the bats a chance to come out there and at least tie it at 1.
Christian Perez, 1-0 to him. He's 0 for 2 so far with the fielder's choice and a ground out. Just 3 hits for these Miners, 2 hits for these Bucs. Now 2-0, and we didn't see a ton of hits in the doubleheader. Just 10 combined in Game 1 and 6 in Game 2. So 16 hits across 14 innings of ball. A half-hearted swing, but he definitely went around.
And we've seen really tough pitchers for the Miners. We saw them in that doubleheader, but the Bucs were able to just have that 1 inning where you're just able to get across 1 or 2 runs. And just the 2 runs in both of those games. But like I said, if you can figure out a way to just score on Hostetler, just 1 run and tie this one up, that would be huge.
2 balls and 2 strikes to the first baseman. A grounder, another chance for Davis. Charges and makes the sidearm throw. Smooth play.
Yeah, and it's good to see what Davis is all about. That was just a very quick and easy 4-3 put out right there, and not trying to speed things up, not trying to be too flashy, and Davis just doing a good job. Fundamentals over there.
Now Dom Patrizzi to the plate. Gurney looking for his second consecutive 1-2-3. Patrizzi has one of the 3 hits for the Miners. He starts out ahead 1-0. And for the Bucs, you're talking about getting a run or 2 off Hostetler. Another strategy might just be to try to work that pitch count and get into the Miners bullpen. Soft flare out to right. Andrew Lamb stares up at it and makes the play. A lightning quick 1-2-3 for Gurney. He's really doing a good job here in relief. Bottom of the 6th coming. Bucs still looking to get on the board. New man on the bump for the Miners, taking over for Jack Hostetler. It's the Iowa Hawkeye, Ben Detay.
Yeah, Detay in for his 6th appearance. Just started in 1 game, mainly been a relief arm, is 1-0 in 19 innings pitched, 10 hits, 4 earned runs, 1.89 ERA. And we've been saying this Miners pitching staff has been nails from top to bottom, it seems. The highest ERA is 10.38, and that's a guy that has only pitched in 4 innings.
Detay pitched in the Miners' last game, that 4-1 loss against the Pilots. 3 innings in relief, 2 hits, 1 run, which was earned, no walks, and 4 strikeouts, so another guy you can't really count on free passes from. As Will Burns steps in to lead off the home half of the 6th, he takes a strike. 2 looking strikeouts for Burns so far. We'll close the line on Hostetler. 5 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. inside from Dete.
Hostetler just looked really dominant against these Bucs bats, and even just the 2 base hits weren't hit very hard from the Bucs at all, and just a struggle to get traffic on the bases.
Didn't look quite as sharp the last couple of innings. As an appeal down to first. Burns did not go around, 2-1. And for Dete, no appearances against the Bucs in league play. Hit hard out to right field, but Strohmeyer appears to have it, and he does. Another fly ball out, and over the last few innings, I feel like we've been seeing more and more fly balls from both teams.
Yeah, it definitely seemed an influx of that, guys just getting under the baseball, not barreling it up to the fullest extent.
So now Andrew Lamb to the plate. He's 0 for 2. Couple of ground outs. Both of those coming to Dom Patrizzi at second, so he'll have to pay full attention. Lamb, per usual, with a respectful chat behind home plate. Obviously, he got that ball call, so maybe just asking how much room there was before that would have been a strike. And now ahead 2-0. See if the Bucs can have some better luck against Dete. He's just issued 6 free passes, but Lamb now ahead 3-0 and a chance to push that number up to 7.
Yeah, I would love to get a runner on here just with 1 out. Give the offense a chance just to push across 1 run.
3-0, now 3-1. Ryan Callahan on deck. PK, Peyton Knowles in the hole. Bucs looking to get a run in. None so far, trailing 1-0. Quiet game for both offenses, but got to give it to both staffs. There have been some guys on base, whether it is those few hits or some walks or hit by pitch, but they've done a good job of limiting the damage when guys are on in that first inning for Halverson, and then in all the other innings keeping these teams scoreless. But Andrew Lamb will take first with the walk, and now man aboard with 1 out for Ryan Callahan.
Like to see Lamb try to snag a bag here. Would not be surprised if he gets the green light from Sanagorski at third base. Haven't really seen any stolen bases in tonight's game, and there hasn't been a ton of traffic on the bases, but with 5 base hits and some walks, I'm a little surprised that nobody's been off to the races.
Lamb 2 for 2 so far this season. As Callahan takes a strike, he's singled to center and flown out to right.
Loved that approach on that single to center field. We got a guy in Hostetler who throws really hard, and he's not trying to do too much with it.
Fake steal from Lamb, and that ball gets away from Christian Perez. Lamb's headed for second, and he'll be in there safely. Lamb was scampering back to first, so not a bad idea from Baltz to throw that ball over there, but Perez unable to corral a throw that was not super accurate from Baltz, and the Bucs will certainly take the extra base. Good job from Andrew Lamb. Callahan now working with a guy in scoring position without the Bucs needing to steal or Callahan having to sacrifice an out.
Yeah, that's going to go down as an E2 on the catcher. Didn't look like the worst throw ever, but definitely was too high to handle for Perez over there, who's fairly tall and just couldn't come down with it.
And a good throw. I think they might have had Lamb, who's dancing around at second now. We see that from him, and really all the Bucs as Dete finds the zone to even things up against Callahan, but Lamb had drifted from first by a pretty significant margin. If Baltz has a more accurate throw, I think Perez might be able to get that tag down. But now Lamb at second with 1 out as Callahan takes strike 3 right down the chute.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate. Now with 2 outs, tough with that rally, but do you have that runner in scoring position? If Knowles can find a hole in the infield, Lamb is likely to score.
Yeah, he'll be going off the crack of the bat. And we saw Knowles pick up 2 RBIs just last game. Would love to see him add on 1 more and get the Bucs all knotted up on the scoreboard. Dete fires high, and Dete a pretty interesting stance, especially out of the stretch. Super closed before he comes home and then just kind of uncorks his body to fire the ball home. Slow breaker that time finds the zone, 1-1.
Yeah, it's super weird, and It's hard that he wheels himself around like that. I'm just surprised at how he can. He's totally not even looking at home plate. Takes a look at second and then starts his delivery.
Too far inside.
I would think you'd have lack of command a lot of times if you do that. I think it's a big thing that coaches teach the young pitchers is just keep your eye on the guy you're throwing with. Keep your eye on the catcher and you'll have a better success. But for Detai, it's totally the opposite.
Yeah, hasn't had a ton of walks this season. Did walk Lamb, and now a ball away from walking Peyton Knowles, who's been more than willing to take those over this in the last game. 3 balls and a strike to the left fielder. Lamb dancing around at second, an extended look from Dete, and a beautiful pitch on the inside corner to bring the count full.
A really good get back pitch. But for Knowles, it's a really tough pitch to hit and probably a nice one to let go by.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The pitch up and away. Another walk for Peyton Knowles, his fifth, over the last 2 games. And now Hankins comes to the plate with 2 on and 2 out. He hasn't been retired yet tonight. Single and a hit by pitch for the third baseman.
For Knowles now up to 14 walks. That's just 2 less than Zane Kelly and Will Burns, who both have almost 20 more at-bats than him. Zane Kelly not as much with 56, but Will Burns with 75 at-bats. We thought Zane Kelly had great plate discipline. Gosh, Peyton Knowles just always finding himself on base. And it's great because he's so fast and can snag the extra bag and can do things that Lamb did. That ball gets on to the outfield and immediately up and trying to take a next base.
Hankins at the plate looking to increase that RBI count on the season, currently sitting at 6, and there's the ball in the dirt. Lamb thought about going, but thought better of it.
Yeah, good recognition from Lamb. I think if he had saw it immediately, might have been able to go, but
probably not worth it with 2 outs.
Definitely not. You don't want to be the last out over there at third.
Especially when runners have been so hard to come by, but Bucs getting 2 here without a base hit. Hankins would love a base hit here. He takes a strike, does have 1 already, as well as a hit by pitch.
And I love how Knowles is positioning himself right now. You're always taught to put yourself at an angle so you can see the pitch out of the corner of your eye, but you're really focusing on the runner in front of you to see what he does.
Great point. Grounder foul down the third base line.
And with that, Knowles is doing it. He's even doing it a little bit more, so making it more noticeable because he realizes how important his run over there is. He's the go-ahead run, and with how great the pitching has been, he knows that he's got to get a good read off of what Lamb is doing. And if he does, he comes around and scores. That might be it.
Perez wasn't holding him off. This one high in the air to center field. Trey Kerr over to right center, hops up and makes the grab. So 2 stranded for the Bucs on a couple of walks. Still no runs for them through 6. We had to the final 3 frames. Bucs trailing 1-0. still Chad Gurney for the Bucs. This inning will be his 4th, which would surpass the Bucs starter Wyatt Halverson, but for Gurney, 3 innings, just 1 hit. No runs, no walks, and a strikeout for the righty, and looking to keep the good stuff going. Just 28 pitches and coming off back-to-back 1, 2, 3 innings. As his first pitch to Blake Baltz is outside. He's flown out and lined out. And now for the play-by-play, here's Vic Maslia.
Thank you, Will. Gurney, like you said, in for his 4th inning. That first pitch is fouled away by Blake Balls. Baltz is lined out and has flown out in his 2 lone appearances. Gurney had been working quicker than we're used to seeing him. Of course, as a starter, might have a different rhythm and method to his madness. But as a reliever, tonight at least, is working a little bit quicker. These at-bats have been a lot quicker since the first couple innings.
Game's going quicker, too, just over an hour and 40 minutes in now.
2-1 count the pitch. It's in the dirt. 3 balls, 1 strike. Gurney has done a good job when he's gotten behind in counts. He's just gotten contact from these Miners bats, and for Halverson, honestly, was just getting more unlucky. Felt like the Miners have put together not as good at bats, except for this one by Baltz, who reaches first base with the base on balls. First walk for Gurney in his outing. Gave up a base hit in the 4th to Patrizi, but that's been about it. Goose eggs by Chad Gurney.
If we can get the first double play of tonight's game.
Ryan Cochran is at the dish, and he's going to square to bunt, but pulls it back. That one is inside.
And not super surprised to see him squaring in a game where runs have been so hard to come by.
Surprised it's so late.
Yeah.
So late in the game that they're doing it. Of course, just the 3 base hits for the Miners. He squares again, and that's a called strike on the inner half. Looks like Jeremiah Arnett is up in the bullpen warming up for the Bucs. It's a usual arm to come out. Probably be even more normal to see him come out of the bullpen now that Hyder is gone. Him and Hyder have been used definitely the most out of any relief pitcher for the Bucs. They have some of the most amount of innings besides the starters, Carlone and Rose. Both 17 2/3 innings. Arnett and Hyder. 1-1, squares again, gets it down. Briggs going to take it himself. The barehanded play is in time for the first out. Moving first to second is Baltz. So a runner in scoring position for the Miners with 1 down.
And a really good job by Brody Briggs that time, calling off the pitcher in Gurney, knowing that he had it more than covered and making the barehanded play look pretty easy.
So that'll bring up Kellen Strohmeyer. Strohmeyer is struck out and flown out. First pitch he sees is outside. First runner in scoring position since, I believe, the 2nd inning.
That leadoff double.
And that was Cochran, who just sack bunted. But yeah, it was the leadoff double that he had back in the 2nd. Other than that, it's been Gurney doing a great job, and Halverson at the end, keeping these Miners off the base pass as that one's fouled back.
I mean, still, even though there's been a couple base runners over the past inning, no hits, just 5 hits in total. And we talked about it, not a ton of hits between these two on that doubleheader last Monday.
Righty comes set, the 1-1. Just a bit outside.
Something about Mondays here at Mulcahy Stadium between these two teams.
It's always nice to see the Bucs bats have a really dominant game, but every now and again it's nice to see a pitcher's duel. Of course, it gets the blood pumping a little bit. I'm sure more for the guys out there on the field. 2-1. Ooh, almost hit him. Strohmeyer able to hop, skip out of the way of that. I'm not sure how.
Yeah, not really sure how either. And not sure how Brody Briggs caught it.
Great snag over there. Briggs, obviously right-handed catcher, has to reach cross-body to grab that. So 3 balls, 1 strike. Last 3-1 count. Gurney ended up walking Baltz, and he's going to walk Strohmeyer here on just 5 pitches. That does make that does make for a force out. So runners at first and second. That will also prompt a mound visit from Brody Briggs.
And talking about that force out, Riker Scow has grounded out. Would love to see him do that again. But you talked about the pitcher's duel. Makes the margin for error for everyone. Pitchers, hitters, fielders, almost non-existent. And any little mistake could have a big impact, but it goes the other way too. Any great play you make has a impact that's really magnified. So someone has a chance to step up and really change this game, even defensively here, if the Bucs can turn two and just keep them at one run.
So the batter now, Riker Scow, grounded out to Will Burns at short and has flown out to Andrew Lamb in right field. That's with 2 on and just 1 out as that one's inside. Arnett just started warming up this inning, so might need a couple more tosses before he's ready to go out there if Gurney has more trouble. One ball, no strike, the pitch. Almost hit him. 2 balls, no strikes now, and Gurney could just go through the 7th inning. Like I said earlier, the Bucs usually go with 4 pitchers anyways. That would set them up for Arnett in the 8th, and then maybe Enyard in the 9th if he's ready to go again, or Elijah Dew. 2-0. Called strike. Dew was in the safe situation more towards the start of the season, has now had an opportunity as a starter.
We've seen Enyard take that role really well lately,
especially with Brody Purcell out. Purcell was the main guy to go to and has been dealing with a shoulder injury. Hope to see him back soon. 2-1. Ground ball out to short. Will Burns goes to second for 1. On to first. Double play. Chad Gurney gets the ground ball he needed and gets out of a little bit of a 7th inning jam. We head to the stretch here, and hopefully the Bucs can score some runs. Still a 1-0 lead for the Miners as we head to the bottom half of the 7th inning here in Anchorage. Bottom half of the 7th inning. Hope you enjoyed your 7th inning stretch, and we hope that the Bucs bats did and got a little bit of rest and will hopefully wake up here against the Miners. Dete still out there for Matsu. Looked good last inning. Had the lead, or excuse me, flipping over the page now. Had a 1-out walk and then a 2-out walk as Brody Briggs squares, gets a called strike as he pulled it back. 1-out walk and then a 2-out walk, but then a fly ball from Josh Hankins eliminated that threat. So nothing going on in the 6th inning. Hopefully the 7th inning brings better luck for the Bucs bats, as that one is a swinging strike from Brody Briggs.
Would love to see the Bucs get something going a little bit earlier in the inning as opposed to with 1 or 2 outs. Briggs in a tough spot here, down 0-2, and like you said, maybe a break from this Miners defense would be great. Just something to get these Bucs going, because even when they've had a couple of guys on, a lot of it's been from walks or hit by pitches. Haven't really had a real rally with hit after hit after hit.
Just the 2 hits coming in different innings. Just a bit outside, a good take from Brody Briggs. Hankins had the first base hit back in the second inning. Excuse me, both of those were in the same inning, those base hits. It's hard to think back to now. It seems like forever ago with how quickly this game has gone. This is hit up the middle and down for a base hit. Brody Briggs reads our mind and has a leadoff hit to start the Bucs here in the seventh inning, and that one looked really good. He had a little bit of tail on it, so he definitely hit it pretty hard.
And a great job by Briggs. He fell behind 0-2, but didn't expand the zone, especially that fourth pitch, one that was tough to take. But catcher, he knows the zone pretty well, was shaking his head, knowing that that wasn't going to be called a strike, and to be able to even see that fifth pitch of the sequence, did a great job, and then not trying to do too much with the baseball, going up to left center just as he should.
So Martell Davis, he squares to bunt and fouls it directly back.
Yeah, wonder if that'll change anything, and wonder if maybe we'll just see Briggs try to take second without Davis having to sacrifice an out.
So first hit since the second inning. Josh Hankins had a base knock. Him and Callahan, but in the second inning, both were up the middle, and that one was too. So it seems that's where the bats are going to today, at least, in these lone three base knocks. But not a good, or not a horrible place to aim. Up the middle is always a good spot to go. So at least the bats are aiming for the right spot of the field. Hopefully can aim for a gap here. But at first, Davis is going to square to bunt. He pulls it back. That one hit him. The home plate umpire didn't signal anything, but Martell Davis is going to head down to first base. And now he's going to say that it didn't hit him. And it looks like, just based off that, the home plate umpire is not sure at all. And of course, now meeting with the other umpires is definitely not sure. But I heard the dugout first, which is interesting.
That's what I heard as well, because I didn't see it hit him, and the catcher, Blake Baltz, actually caught the ball. And they're going to say that he's got to stay in the box. But based on the yell from the dugout, I would have thought that it did hit him, but I guess they were misleading, and Davis will have to stay in there.
So still a chance for his first base hit in a Bucs uniform. And I think Davis is just trying to plead to Sanagorski and Coach Springman that one hit him, but not putting up a crazy fight. Davis doesn't seem like a guy who's trying to buy a base at all. We'll try to work forward and earn a base knock, and of course, insult to injury, hits that one off of his foot. That never feels good.
And interesting to see that he was swinging away after showing the bunt 0-1, and would have had a decent hole to hit up the middle because Don Patrizzi was shaded towards first base, knowing that he might have to cover over there.
So 1 ball, 2 strikes, hitting away. We'll check on first, but Briggs is in there safely. Gives Davis a little bit of time to collect himself. Martell Davis with another opportunity for a base hit. 1-2 pitch. Hit towards second base. This could be trouble. Patrizzi flips to second for one. On to first, and not in time. A low throw from Cochran gave Davis plenty of time to leg it out, but even with a good throw, I think Davis has that back beat.
Yeah, Davis with good speed. Unfortunately, that time unable to get Briggs over to second, which would have been huge for these Bucs. And it looks like we're going to have a pinch hitter with Adam Enyart.
So Enyart's going to come in to hit. That probably takes away totally his opportunity of coming in to pitch in the 9th inning. So we'll see someone else out there, but
not necessarily.
No, you're right.
Bucs would. Yeah, it's not out of the possibilities.
He hits for Hunsaker, and that one's up and away. I'll be more interested to see how the outfielders switch up. Enyart has not played center field before, and I don't believe Peyton Knowles has either this year. I think Andrew Lamb would be your best bet. 1-0, popped up. That might stay in play on foul ground. The first baseman, Perez, brings that one in. So Enyart pops up, and suddenly 2 down.
Yeah, unfortunate for Enyart not to get more out of that.
So back to the top of the order, and Cole Carlone. Davis is still at first base, but speedy legs, I would assume. And he probably would score if Carlone can hit one in the gap. So fielder's choice and a fly ball out. how we have two, and that one a wave and a miss from Carlone. An excuse me swing, couldn't hold it up. Will Burns awaiting on deck. Tate trying to see him next inning. This next one just misses off the plate. Arnett most likely going to go in for the 8th inning to relieve Gurney. Been warming up there for a good bit now. Bucs trying to give him a lead to work with, or at least a tie ball game. As Carlone hits this one foul again.
That ball is brought to you by ABC of Alaska.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 down. Miners top of the order, due up next inning. The pitch to Carlone, gets a piece of it foul. Trying to go the other way with it. Deep breath for Carlone. Davis still over there at first base. Tate ready. Davis goes. The pitch is outside. The throw down there is a strike, and they've got Martell before he can even touch the bag. A great throw by Baltz. It was almost a pitch out. Patented perfectly to be able to throw down to second base, and unfortunately for Davis, his first stolen base as a Buck will have to wait. The threat is eliminated. We head to the 8th inning, still a 1-0 lead for the Miners. Welcome back. Top of the 8th inning. Unfortunately, the Bucs bats still on a cold streak. They cannot scratch across a run. On the hill now for the Bucs is Jeremiah Arnett in his 12th appearance. That is the most out of any Bucs pitcher. He is 4-0, but no games started at only relief, 17 and 2/3 innings, 23 hits, but just 7 earned runs, and that's good for a 3.57 ERA.
And for Arnett, has only pitched against the Miners once. That was last Monday in Game 2 of the doubleheader, and he worked the 5th and 6th innings, giving up just the 1 hit, no runs, no walks, and a strikeout.
First guy he faces is Drake Kerr, and it'll be the top of the order due up for the Miners.
And he more recently pitched in the Bucs' last game, a 9-1 win over the Pilots, working the 8th inning, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, no strikeouts.
Next one to Kerr, catches a corner, 1 ball, 1 strike.
So important that he keeps this lead right where it is. Just 1 run for the Miners.
Kerr is going to try to drag a bunt on the first base line, but he fouls it away. Seen Kerr bunt for a hit. He did that back in the doubleheader series. He's got some speedy legs, and when he gets that head start like that, it is so hard to catch him.
Yep, obviously has a little bit longer to go from that right-handed batter's box, but league leader in stolen bases, we know he's got some wheels.
Arnett had 1-2. The pitch is low and away. And it makes sense that Arnett and Hyder had the same amount of innings pitched. And I technically had the same amount of appearances because Hyder did come in that first game, which has still not been recorded yet. So Hyder would have 11 appearances. A big swing and a miss from Drake Kerr. He's down on strikes. It's his second strikeout tonight, but this one of the swinging variety.
Great start for Arnett. Huge to get the first guy you face, and feels even better to do it via swinging strikeout.
And it's big that it's the top of the order. That brings up Chase Wilcox. He's 1 for 3 with a base hit back in the first. First pitch he sees down the left field line, but foul.
That foul ball is brought to you by ABC and Alaska.
Arnett has more than double the amount of hits that Hyder gave up, as this one is swung on and missed. But for Arnett, with that 3.57 ERA, he's just given up 2 more runs than Hyder. So yeah, we've seen guys get on to Arnett, but we've also seen Arnett do a good job with traffic on the bases and getting out of those jams. That one just misses inside.
Yeah, didn't miss by much, Arnett. I think really wanted that call, but still in a really good spot here, 1-2 on Wilcox.
Arnett has been asked to do just about everything. He's pitched 2-3 innings before and comes in and just pitches the one. Big swing and a miss there. Arnett feeling himself. Back-to-back swinging strikeouts as Wilcox is down.
Yeah, should be feeling himself after those first 2 batters, Kerr and Wilcox, and would be great to see him get a similar result against McCausland.
For Arnett, as of late, besides that doubleheader game, he's run into a little bit more of traffic on the bases pass, and his wise ERA has risen a little bit. But when you pitch this amount of innings out of the bullpen, having an ERA at around 3.5 is amazing.
That pitch was amazing.
Sure was. Beautiful breaking ball right in the zone. The 0-1 pitch just misses off the plate. Good breaking ball, though, again.
We've talked about it from McCausland. He kind of backs out of the zone with his swing, and I would think it makes it really difficult to get to those outside pitches.
Yeah, it takes his foot out of the bucket, is what the youth coaches would say. 1-1 misses again. 2 balls, 1 strike. But that is an interesting thing you picked up on early on, is that, yeah, he just totally steps out of the box. That's why guys like Bryce Harper in the big leagues put their foot outside the box. 2-1, called strike. Another beautiful breaking ball, and Arnett just looks really dialed in tonight. Not like he looks like that, or doesn't look like that every night, but tonight, in terms of what we've seen in the recent past, has looked even more so. Just gets a piece of it and grounds this one out to Carlone. He's going to flip to Arnett. Close play at first, but Jeremiah able to stick it, and he gets the third and final out. So doesn't strike out the side, but a 1-2-3 inning will have to do. The Bucs bats running out of outs here, just 6 left, and 1-0 Miners lead when we come back. Bottom half of the 8th, just time running out for these Bucs bats, but they've got the right guys at the plate to start the rally, and it's Cole Carlone, the leadoff batter, followed by Burns and Andrew Lamb.
Running out of time.
Ground ball up the middle, base hit. How about that for a start? Cole Carlone, a leadoff base hit as he gets his night finally going. Couple flyouts and a ground out, but now the base hit.
Definitely got to keep an eye on him over there.
Brody Briggs did start last inning with a base knock up the middle. But this one feels a little bit different, and is probably why it's prompting a mound visit from the Miners. Pitching coach Steve Hecker is going to make his way out there. Or is this LeBrun?
Might be LeBrun, and see someone coming from that right field gate.
So it looks like it will be a pitching change for the Miners. A new reliever coming on. Will Burns, Cole Carlone going to have a talk with the Bucs coaching staff to strategize how they'll deal with one on and nobody out with a new hurler on the mound. Looks like a right-handed pitcher. We'll tell you all about him when we come back after this break. Welcome back. Here on the hill for the Miners now is Ryan Harahill. And for him, and this is his 7th appearance, started 2 games, but mostly comes out of the bullpen, is 1-1, 14 and a third, 12 hits, 8 earned runs, 5.02 ERA.
Last pitched in a 4-1 loss against the Pilots on the 11th. That the last game for the Miners. Worked 1 inning, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, and 2 strikeouts for the big righty out of Nebraska.
Hoping for the same luck against the Bucs here. Burns squares to bunt, pulls it back. That one is upstairs for ball 1. The coaches were talking with Burns and Cole Carlone, strategizing about what to do with 1 on, nobody out in a 1-0 situation in terms of the game score. Runs precious and hard to come by. Burns squares again, gets it down the line, but just foul.
And for Harahill, this is 3rd time facing the Bucs. First time was back on June 24th. He started, went 3 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, all of them earned 3 walks and 2 strikeouts. Picked up the loss in a 9-1 Bucs win. And then back in game 2 of the doubleheader last Monday, he worked the 5th and 6th innings, no hits, no runs, no walks, and 2 strikeouts.
Of course, the damage was already done there, and the Bucs picked up the win. Looking for some more success off of him, like that 9-1 victory, is that one's a called strike on the outer half. And for Burns, that one, a breaking ball is very tough to bunt, especially if it's on the outside part of the plate. And Harehill's working with a curveball and a slider, so two different breaking balls to worry about. Of course, also I think has the change. Burns down to the count, 1-2. He's going to square again, and he is out. Burns, I'm assuming he knew that he had those 2 strikes on him as he squared the bunt, but he's not able to get it down. So 1 down. A big out for Harehill and the Miners here for Andrew Lamb, who's now at the plate, excuse me.
Yeah, surprised he was bunting with 2 strikes.
Lamb so far is 0 for 2. A walk back in the 6th inning. Carlone over there at first base would be the first run for the Bucs if they can figure out a way to get him around. I want a called strike, a nice breaking ball by Harehill. Rudd was warming up in the bullpen for the Bucs. Wonder if we'll see him in the 9th inning. 0-1 pitch, misses upstairs. Good take by Lamb. Callahan on deck as one of the 4 base hits for the Bucs. Bucs have more base hits now than the Miners, who have just 3. Next one to Lamb is fouled back. 2 on him now. Not sure if Lamb was a part of those plans that Sanagorski, Springman, and the rest of the coaches were talking to Carlone and Burns about. Lamb would have been on deck for that situation, but I'm sure that they had a play drawn up. See if he chokes up, gets a base hit here. 1-2, misses way outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Zane Kelly recently came in to relieve Riley Hunsaker out there in center field. Of course, Adam Inyart came in to relieve the bat of Hunsaker and popped out back last inning. Inyart not playing center before, the Bucs not wanting to test that, or at least not center this summer. It's a big center field too, so was not surprised to see Zane Kelly out there. That's really the only other option with Max Ross still out, and Hunsaker, of course, already starting the game. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Lamb trying to fight in the count. Pitch. Swing and a miss. Lamb is down on strikes. Buried that breaking ball, either the slider or the curveball, and now has 2 down with that runner still at first base.
Yeah, unfortunate that Carlone hasn't gotten over yet. Thought with maybe Harehill, the righty, you'd see him running more as opposed to Dete, the lefty, but tried to get him over with the bunt from Burns, and then Lamb unable to do much at the plate, but Callahan has a hit already.
See if he can find a gap. Carlone's got good speed. One's a called strike. On deck is Peyton Knowles. Harehill doing a good job of getting ahead in the count. That one almost gets away, but not too far for Christian Perez. Any further, and Carlone might have advanced to second. A little surprised that last at bat, Carlone didn't get a steal sign. Try to shake things up a little bit. Obviously, you don't want to kill your threat. But it would be huge to get him in scoring position. There he goes now. Pitches downstairs. The throw is not in time. Carlone's got a stolen bag and a perfect one to go on. That pitch took Baltz down and in towards the back foot of Callahan, and he had to scoop it up and make a good throw, which he did. But Carlone, with those speedy legs, able to get down there in time, and would have loved to have that other stolen bag. It was Martell Davis, and he had a really good jump, but that pitch was up and out, and it helped Baltz. Created a good situation to throw down on. They were able to catch him stealing, but not Carlone here. 1 ball, 1 strike, base hit, likely ties the game. And a late time call by the home plate umpire.
It wasn't that late. It just took him a while to see it. Callahan had his hand up for a couple of seconds, and rightfully so. Harryhill was staring at Carlone for a good while and kind of throwing off the rhythm of Callahan, but good that the home plate umpire granted it because Callahan did have it up for a couple of seconds.
Harryhill tries again, the pitch. Big cut and a miss by Callahan. Actually just got a piece of it and fouls it. But just a little sliver, so he's down 1-2. Briggs had a 2-strike base knock. How about Callahan? Carlone over there at second base. Like I said, a base hit should score him. Harryhill set at the letters, the 1-2. In the dirt, good take by Callahan.
And a good job also communicating with Carlone, telling him not to go, and I think that one got balled pretty good.
Yeah, it skipped up there. Wasn't really that close to the plate, so maybe he took a weird hop and got balls. He waves away the coaching staff for the Miners and return back behind home plate. Deuce is wild for the Bucs. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Clouds over top now. The sun totally going away. Probably at least 5 degrees colder now on the field. Hopefully the bat's hot enough to get a base hit right here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Harryhill ready, the pitch. Rounded foul, a good fight by Callahan.
We've seen him fight. That single was the 10th pitch of his at-bat in the second inning. Doing a good job of just living to see another pitch.
Deuce is still wild. Hopefully some good luck for the Bucs to come. Just 4 outs to work with. Harryhill ready, takes a look at Carlone, no one holding him on. 2-2, swung on and missed. He gets Callahan down on strikes, and that eliminates the Bucs' threat here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. So a leadoff hit by Carlone is all to show for it, and we head to the top half of the 9th now. Just 3 outs left for both teams. Top half of the 9th inning, a last chance for the Miners to get some insurance runs. Still leading just 1-0. They scored back in the first inning off of Halverson and then have not looked back. That was a bases-loaded fielder's choice by by Dom Patrizzi that scored the run. Christian Perez is at the dish and takes a big cut and a miss at that. Jeremiah Arnett is still on the hill for the Bucs.
And way back then in the first, when Patrizzi hit into that fielder's choice, didn't think that would be the biggest moment in this game.
1 misses, and just by the way the Bucs bats have been, you just could expect that they would scratch across at least 1 or 2 runs and get ahead of these Miners. But all the pitchers for Matsu have looked super good as this one's fouled out of play. Hostetler,
Dete,
and Harryhill.
And a good job by their coaching staff noticing before it's too late when they're kind of starting to lose their command and not being scared to go to the next guy even if the pitch count isn't too high.
1-2, ground ball out to Davis at second. He fields, throws, and 1 down here in the 9th.
We've said it every other inning, but even more so now. Really got to keep these Miners from scoring. These Bucs bats have struggled so much, and a good start there from Arnett.
And after back-to-back innings with leadoff runners aboard and unable to score a run, you'd think that they'd be able to find some more success in the bottom half of the ninth, but only 3 outs to work with. A big swing and a miss now from Dom Patrizzi, but like I said, the bats have been looking a little bit better inning by inning, so you'd think the next inning would yield some positive results, but wouldn't be surprised if the Miners came back out and had a 1-2-3 inning waiting on the Bucs bats. 0-1 is a called strike, so Arnett trying to quickly send the Bucs bats back up, which would be really big. No balls, 2 strikes. Arnett taking his time up there. Finally gets something he likes. Now the pitch in the dirt. 2 up for the Bucs. 5, 6, and 7, starting with Peyton Knowles.
Hey, we haven't had a walk-off win so far this year, so maybe the Bucs are just, kind of toying with us for 8 innings, and they'll turn things on.
Could be true. 1 ball, 2 strikes, the pitch. Swung on and missed. Arnett has another strikeout. 3 strikeouts for him, all swinging.
Yeah, he's really looked good out there. Been super locked in, and the Bucs have needed him to be. Hopefully it pays off for something, but first got to take care of Blake Baltz.
Baltz the last hope for the Miners here in the 9th inning. And not that many close games as of late for the Bucs, and in terms of the whole season, besides these Miners, haven't had a lot of close games. As Baltz squares to bunt, but it's a called strike as he pulls it back. But like I was saying, in the close games, it seems like the Bucs have usually been ahead. There hasn't been a single win or single loss I can remember that the Bucs team, besides that one out the Peninsula,
5, yeah.
But that was a comeback where we came back and only lost by 1, and a check swing. It didn't look like he checked it, and they're going to say he went around.
Yeah, it took a while for Brody Briggs to ask for that appeal, but one that I think we were both pretty confident he'd be successful on, and Arnett a strike away from strikeout number 4.
Like I've been saying, just in the games the Bucs have lost, it's been by 2-3 runs, and it's kind of been expected. 0-2 in the dirt. When I mean expected, it's just there hasn't seemed to been a huge rally or huge opportunity in those games to have a walk-off win. And if I'm not mistaken, I feel like a lot of those wins out in the Peninsula, obviously no chance to walk it off. Bucs have been really good here at Mulcahy Stadium. 1-2. Called strike 3. Have a seat. Blake Baltz down on strikes. 2 strikeouts to end the top half of the 9th. Hopefully that fires up the Bucs bats. Last chance, 3 outs remaining. A 1-0 lead for the Miners. How about the Bucs walk it off here? Welcome back. Bottom half of the 9th. Last chance for the Bucs bats. A new pitcher on the hill for the Miners. The 4th one of the 9, and it's Drew Kanan. And for Kanan, he is a rising sophomore. This is his 10th appearance, so the most appearances by a good bit actually for this Miners team. He is 0-1. All appearances have been non-start, so coming out of the bullpen does have 2 saves. So this is obviously a save opportunity. And talk about being sharp. 10 innings pitched, 4 hits, no earned runs in those 10 innings.
Pitched in their last game, that 4-1 loss against the Pilots. Working the 8th inning, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, and a strikeout. Has faced off against the Bucs. That was back on the 24th in that 9-1 Bucs win. And Kanan 1 1/3, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, and a strikeout.
And he'll have to face Peyton Knowles, Josh Hankins, and Brody Briggs. The first pitch is just a bit inside to Knowles. And if you're the Bucs, besides the Cole Carlone, the leadoff batter, Peyton Knowles is a great guy to have lead it off. 1-0 is fouled out of play, and for Kanan, couldn't think of a better guy to have on the hill if you're the Miners, giving up no runs, and he's looked really good all season. And if he gets a 3rd save here, would move him just behind Brody Purcell, who has 4. Another foul ball from Knowles.
And a couple housekeeping things. Chase Wilcox taking over at first base for Perez. Wilcox moving from 3rd to 1st across the infield, and then Nick Bisaccia taking over on the hot corner.
1-2 misses just downstairs. Good eye by Peyton Knowles. Like I said, Brody Purcell with a league-leading 4 saves, but if Kanan can find a way to get a save here, he'd be in 2nd place. Tapper right back to him. He has that no problem, and he'll underhand toss it to Chase Wilcox, who moves over 3rd to first base. Love to see the hustle from Peyton Knowles there.
Yeah, good hustle. Unfortunately, though, Kanan making the easy play.
So just 2 outs left. It's up to Josh Hankins and Brody Briggs now. Love to see Zane Kelly get a chance. He would be batting for Hunsaker and Inyart. First pitch to Hankins misses low and away.
Hey, all it takes is a bloop and a blast.
The Bucs just need to tie this one up and prolong the game. Nice breaking ball from Kanan. Floats perfectly into the zone. 1-1 misses outside. Kanan's got that short arm release, and he really brings it in there nicely, and a guy that doesn't have to reach all the way back to get maximum power. 2-1 misses with the breaking ball, and he hides that ball because he has that short arm motion, really hides it well. You don't see it till it's coming out of the slot. Arnett has gone back to the bullpen, I'm sure just to keep warm in case the Bucs tie it up and send it to extras. 3-1. Hit to center field, but it's going to hang up there for Drake Kerr. 2 down.
Nothing going for the Bucs, just 4 hits, and Hankins giving it a decent ride, but that was always going to be caught by Kerr.
So Brody Briggs, the final hope for the Bucs. With 2 down, and Bucs have done some damage with 2 outs. Back in the Peninsula, came up just a bit short, but that was a big 2-out rally. See if they can do it tonight. Called strike on the Brody Briggs. You can tell Kanan just looks really comfortable and relaxed out there. It's going to be tough to get traffic on the bases, let alone a run to score, and that one almost hit Brody Briggs.
Kanan, another big guy out there.
All these pitchers are big. Well, it's
6'3",
kind of
210, yeah.
1-1. This is low and away, and it's kind of funny because looking at most of their fielders in general,
Yeah.
they're not. I mean, Drake Kerr out in center field is pretty small. Patrizzi's a smaller guy.
Bisaccia.
Cochran is not that big either. Chase Wilcox. Kyle McCausland is the only one that I can safely say is pretty big, and that one is hit right back to Kanan. And how fitting is that? He'll jog to first and flip it to Chase Wilcox, who hauls that one in for out number 3. So the Miners get the first win against the Bucs this season. First win for themselves against the Bucs, and are now 4-1 in league play, 5-1, including that non-league game. But unfortunately for the Bucs, they come up just short in the 1-0 loss. We'll go ahead and start wrapping things up for you guys right now. But the Bats just pretty asleep tonight, but of course, really good pitching from the Miners, and it showed on the stat sheet, and we knew coming into this game that it might be tough to score runs.
Yeah, you look at the line score and you say, hey, you hold these Miners to 3 hits, and they also give you an error. I would say almost 100% the Bucs win. But when you only have 4 hits, then that's not necessarily the case. So really can't blame these Bucs pitchers. And I don't know that you can really blame the bats as much as just give credit to these Miners' arms.
I was just about to say, got to give credit where credit is due, and that's Hostetler, Dete, Harahill, and Kanan all pitching really, really good baseball for the Miners. And I'm just getting another glimpse at all of those pitchers that they have, and they are all really big dudes. And I know that shouldn't say that bigger guys are necessarily better pitchers, but they've got big guys who can pitch really well. So for the Bucs, just unfortunate, cannot get a single run, but that is the first time, Will, since I believe the first game of the season where the Bucs have been shut out.
I believe you're right on that, and really a great streak. And we've seen some games lately where the Bucs have scored just a couple of runs, and it's been enough. So maybe this will be a wake-up call to the bats to say, hey, we really got to get going in a big way. And I'm not too worried about it. It's just one game. The Bucs still sitting atop the ABL standings, but likely we'll face the Miners in just a couple of days. It'll be the Chinooks tomorrow, and then the Miners on Wednesday, and the Miners again on Sunday. So chances pretty soon here to avenge this loss, and I'm sure the Bucs will be looking to do just that.
And like you just said, the outlook for the most recent games tomorrow, we're going to be at the Chinooks, a 6 o'clock start like usual, but that's going to be out in Chugiak facing the Eagle River Chinooks for a 6 o'clock game. For tonight's game, we'll give you the final line score. The Bucs lose. No runs on 4 hits, no errors, still clean baseball from the fielders, and 1 run on just 3 hits and 1 error for the Miners. They take this one 1-0 here at Mulcahy Stadium. The Bucs fall to 17-8, and the Miners improve to 13-13. Once again, the final score 1-0 Miners win. For my partner Will Hopkins, I'm Dick Macias saying so long and good night from Mulcahy Stadium.